Good morning. I'd like to call the Adams County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Mr. Bradford, would you lead us in prayer?
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you, O God, for allowing us to see another day, O God. And Father, we just carefully give your name all honor and praise and glory. And Father, we just ask right now, Lord God, that you continue to strengthen our board of supervisors, our city elected leaders, and our state and this country, O God. Father, continue to keep them in your grace, O God. Keep them safe, O God. Father, continue to give them wisdom and the courage to run on to lead your people. And Father, we just continue to pray for our first responders across this county, this city, this state, and this country, O God. And Father, we want to send a special prayer to the victims, oh God, that may have died in these mass shootings, oh God. Father, we just pray, oh God, to comfort their families, oh God. And we just ask, oh God, that peace roll about, oh God. Father, we want to pray for our school, our children at the end of this semester. Pray for testing, give them the courage and strength to pass their tests. Also for our graduates, as they continue on to college, Father, we ask that you continue to strengthen them and give them grace and give them the passion, oh God, to accept their skills and what they're going to college for. And Father, we just continue to pray for everyone in this county. Let us continue to work together, oh God, for your people. And we ask these prayers in your precious Son, Jesus' name, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. I want to ask now for the three EMTs who are present to lead us in the pledge, please. Would y'all lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, we need to approve the dockets.
So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'm voting against claim number 2303, the fifth month, 11th date of 2022. And I'm not voting against this one, but I got questions for claim item 323. And it's a payment to one of our employees. What I got was, I think we need to discuss this in executive session that I think his account was hacked and we ended up paying 2 months of his salary back to him because his account was hacked. I think we need to put some measures in place where this won't happen no more. Thank you.
You might take it, so you have an item to be determined and
Yes, sir.
and to be objected in the claim that you noticed. Okay. We'll note that for minutes.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. I'm gonna take it. Next on the agenda, we're gonna move to presentation of the MAS scholarship. There were two recipients, or two applications from our county. The recipient for this year's MAS Supervisor Scholarship for $500 is Ms. Hannah Murray. She is the daughter of our prior county administrator, Joe Murray, who was a long dedicated employee to the county. So Hannah, if you would, come forward, and we'd like to present this to you. Yes.
How much is it?
$500.
$500.
You want to present this?
Yes.
Make sure you get this money and not your
The
stingy
dad.
dad.
What you said,
Well,
stingy dad.
Stingy dad, his name is not Hannah Elizabeth Murray, so he's gonna have trouble. Taking care of
You
this.
don't know how clever he can be.
Hannah, this check for $500. And certificate of recognition presented to Hannah Elizabeth Murray, 2022 recipient of MAS County Employee Scholarship, awarded by Mississippi Association of Supervisors by the Adams County Board of Supervisors. Congratulations. I don't know if Jack wants a picture or not. He's gonna take it off there. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Hannah, do you know the rule with the check?
What?
You give $400 and you give us $100 back. Nah, I'm just-
Okay, this week is EMS week, and what I have before me is a resolution, a proclamation of the Board of Supervisors of Adams County, Mississippi, that I'd like to read. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, with the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and the emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care. And whereas the Board of Supervisors desires to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved and proclaimed by the Board of Supervisors of Adams County, Mississippi, that it be proclaimed and known now and forevermore that this week of May 16 through 22 of the year 2022 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Be it further resolved that this resolution and proclamation be spread across the permanent minutes of the Board of Supervisors everywhere. If y'all would, please come forward.
I said I wasn't gonna get the picture because he's taller than I
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we talking to you, man.
Just embarrassed.
Thank you. Just so y'all know, man, right there is the 2021 Star of Life of the state of Mississippi when it comes to paramedicine. This man right here, Bear LaPrairie, just graduated and passed successfully his national registry exam. He started out as an EMS driver with us, went through a program that we worked out with Southwest Community College, present an EMT basic class at only minimal cost to the employees by way of providing them our instructors. He successfully passed his EMS exam last night and is now an EMT basic. So he continues to progress through the service and programs that we put together. So there's some success stories right there that serve right here in Natchez, Mississippi.
Is he on the phone?
Namby, are you online? All right, this time we're gonna move forward, city government business, if any. We'll move to departmental reports.
Good morning, board. Mary Kay Doherty with Adams County Youth Courts. I have a couple things this morning. We have reapplied for the Department of Public Safety and Planning Drug Court Assistance Grants, and it's one we do every year. They have, this year, they've cut our budget from 98 to 70,000. But I do have some paperwork that needs to be spread across the minutes and signs. I will bring something back because I have a typo on it that I need to fix, and I'll bring it back for you to sign. I do need that signed along with some others that I'm gonna bring right back to y'all. And then I have 2 travel to be approved. This is for myself and Ivan Mays to go to the national conference in Nashville, and these are both grant funded, so they will be grant reimbursed.
You heard the motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
That's all I have, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Heidi Martin. I'm the purchasing clerk for the Adams County Board of Supervisors. I only have one thing this morning that I would like to spread across the minutes, that's the authorization to authorize for payment the ACSO travel credit card and the Adams County Board of Supervisors credit card payment.
You heard the request. So moved. Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Yeah, question, you say Adams County Supervisor? Board of
It's
Supervisors?
the procurement card.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Good morning, board. I just have a request for you all to approve me to attend a PURGE training, well, state retirement, so it's a PURGE training. That's gonna be in Pearl, Mississippi next month on the 9th. So I've already printed out my confirmation for registration, and then I've completed the, I guess this is like the travel form that you all need for assistance.
So moved.
Yeah. Yeah, got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Good morning, I'm Henry Upshaw, Administrator Juvenile Detention over here. I have 2 items that I need to deal with. One of them is a pay increase due to promotion. Israel Stewart has been promoted to a supervisor position. His pay will increase from $12.13 to $12.57.
Is that form for us?
Yes.
Okay. You heard the request, Mr. Upshaw?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
My next item, I have a lady that's out on FMLA right now. I would like to change the status of one of my part-time people from part-time to full-time temporary for that period of time while that person's on FMLA.
Is that gonna be a budget?
That will not increase in other words, there are no benefits to that position, so it's simply gonna be hourly cost.
Well, if she starts working full-time long enough, then she's entitled.
But she's a temp full-time
Yeah,
person, so in the end, like, she won't
Right.
get benefits or anything.
According to the handbook, there's a temporary position that is without benefits.
If the one that's out on FMLA is using their lead time, if they have lead time, then it ends up being more money out of the budget.
Okay.
But we can probably address that at the end of the year.
But if y'all tell me no, I won't do it.
Well, we gotta have, have somebody there.
You got to have somebody couple.
You heard the request.
So
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, thank y'all.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Jason.
Good morning, board.
Good morning.
James on extended service. I have one item, we have a quarterly extended magazine that comes to our office. I bought some Corvette yesterday. We have a former 4-H named Simone that is recently has been hired as a meteorologist for Fox West News in San Angelo, Texas. So she's featured in this magazine. So I left some for y'all that get a chance. It's a picture right there. So she's a former Adams County 4-H'er, you know, very active, and now has a good position as a meteorologist at his Fox West TV station. Also, last time I came, I was telling you about, we had 11 4-H'ers that competed in the district shooting sport in Pearl. We had, out of the 11, we had 1 first place winner in archery. We had 2 second place winners in pistol, and we had 2 third place winners in air rifle. So over 500 youth from 12 counties. We had some top place winners right here in Adams County, so they did very well. And most of the kids we took were under 12 years old. So age group from 8 to 18, they were very, the rank officer was very impressed. The kids in Adams County definitely are good shooters. They were very respectful. They learned the right way of handling firearms. So. Go ahead.
Thank you, Joseph.
You talk about certification? Good morning, board. I was shocked Mr. Johnson to tell about our certification that we got through his pesticide application class. But good morning, Brad Bradford, Adams County EMA Director. I got a couple things this morning, board. First, I want to ask the board, Mississippi Department of Health has awarded Maverick Health another year to continue the free COVID testing at the safe room. So I want to ask the board to request to allow Maverick Health to utilize the safe room for an additional year for free COVID testing.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines. Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, last I brought, got authorization from the board to purchase an ice machine. I got with our county administrator, and I want to ask the board to do a budget amendment for the FEMA safe room account to purchase the ice maker. I think it's a total of $4,500 should cover.
$4,007.
$4,500? $4,700 to cover the, I tried to get a little more money. That's for parts in case Johnny needed, but it'll come out of your budget, for the ice maker.
So. Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, board, just to give you a heads up, our city and county interlocal 5 agreement is coming to an end, so we're gonna have to address that. We're trying to get the cities, so we try to set up a meeting, Scott, with the mayor, fire chief, and the president and the vice president of the board, because once it's run out, we got how we wanna do the interlocal agreement. I think the last one we did was, I think, for 10 years. So it's coming up on his end, so if the supervisor wanna continue to go that route, we need to start working on that with any additional changes to that. So I will get with Mr. President and Scott, try to raise that with the city on that. Any questions on that? Everybody know what it's for? Okay, all right. Also, the last thing I got is, we did our siren testing last Wednesday. And we're having some difficulties with some sirens. A lot of the constituents did call me saying the sirens weren't working on that. Those sirens are, last time we had maintenance on those was back, I think I want to say 2019. So they're due for some maintenance. I did call around to get some prices, and looking at those prices, everything went up. The company, the guy that used to do it for us, he no longer do it. He was out of Jackson area. He don't do it no more. So most of the contractors had to come from out of state. And those prices are looking between $15,000 and $16,000 just for one visit. So with that saying, I did do some research. I got in contact with the Federal Signal Siren Maker. They do offer technician classes. And I did ask 2 of my contract workers, our volunteers, that they want to take the class to get certified in working on those. where we'll have in-house workers to be able to work on our sirens and not pay that additional cost. So the classes, they are $3,000 a piece. We do have money in our budget, and it'll be cheaper if we go get 2 of our people certified to fix on the sirens ourselves than contracting every year $15,000, $16,000 for them to come down and do one-time visit on that. So I'm asking the board to try to want to do a travel request for Sam Minor and Scott Irvin to attend the Federal Signal Siren Tech School. It's going to be in Madison, Illinois, and those dates are July the 10th through the 16th. And I did get a president those travel requests for them.
You heard the request.
So, thanks.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Wilson. One question I have, Brad, is you got the registration on here, mileage and all that, will that be?
Yeah, they're going to take account of it. They're going to drive system
Okay,
to it.
all right.
So they won't have to pay for no gas and no rental cars and that.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thanks. That's all I have. Any questions? You got some?
question. Sirens out around the, Kingston Road, Greenfield area, was that one of them that wasn't working or working?
Yeah, it's a lot of people control, they can't hear it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these guys will be able to turn them up a little bit. So, cause I know they got a community out there. I did speak with that gentleman, he could hear. So that's the purpose of sending them to the school. So, and that'll be cheaper than trying to put another additional siren of $30,000 in that location where they'll be able to tune them up and adjust them at that.
Hold on a second. I don't know how we're gonna work this out, but to my understanding that the 2 individuals that's going, they're not covered under our insurance to drive our employees.
Yes, they are.
They are?
Mm-hmm. See, they're volunteer firefighters and also they contracted through the EMA office. So they are covered.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Thanks, Brad.
Mr. Attorney, for the on the safe side, could you look into that and make sure that they are covered? Because I don't want something to happen and we found out in the back end that they are not covered. So could you make sure that they are covered?
I think they are, but I'll confirm.
Yeah, they
Got
are.
a safety inside.
No, they are covered because they drive fire trucks and all the vehicles on the same insurance. Corvette have their license and all that.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, board. First thing I had this morning is, Coffers Point Road, water's going down. We're gonna get started back on, fixing that washout again. I did speak with the landowner that we normally get river ship from to do this job. Mr. Robert Johnson, spoke with him last Wednesday. He's willing this year, but he has enrolled his land into a wetlands or some program or something. They're gonna plant trees on it, so this would be probably the last year. He did tell me that. So we're gonna go out and look, see where we can get it from, but I don't know what Adams County is gonna do after this year because it's about $60,000 to $80,000 for us to fix it pretty much every year with that material. If we have to haul material, it's probably gonna double or triple in cost. So I don't know what Adams County is gonna do after this year, but I do want to bring that before the board, and we are gonna get ready to get started on Copper Point Road.
Scott, is there anything we can do with the St. Catherine Creek Wildlife Refuge? I mean, I don't know why the county's been taking this hit for the last 50 years. Maintaining that road down there, and the only place it goes is the St. Catherine Creek Wildlife. Basically, a couple of landowners, there aren't many.
We've reached out to, vets before and they've never said that they should have to fix that or do that. Outside of that, you can do, you know, as long as it's a county road, we have to, gotta maintain it, you know, so that it's at least safe or liable for it, so outside of maintaining a road, you know, that's certainly not gonna do it.
Well, it's not in my district, so I can't make that call, but I just, it's just a lot of money every single year. I bet you there are 5% of the people in the county that are probably like that.
Yeah, it's,
And it's a big expense.
and due to the water, we actually tried to proceed against the government on a lawsuit because the water level has changed, making it wasn't as frequent as we had to, fix it. And then the water level changed, and it's pretty much an annual thing. And we have to rent this big equipment, it's a mess.
You said the water level changed.
Yes, sir.
Did it change on its own or somebody changed?
For engineers.
Obviously the Corps of Engineers did it, so that's why they're getting sued about it. We call it takings, because you basically have robbed certain landowners their property for sometimes 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, a lot of my land's affected by that too, so I mean, on the takings lawsuits.
Yeah. And the county attempted to get recovery off of it, but that was not a takings. So,
Next thing I have, last board meeting, we discussed utility permits throughout other counties, things, so we reached out to some other counties. I put a sheet in front of y'all showing you what other counties do, some charges, some don't. I know the city of Natchez charges and different ones do, so, I guess we'll take a look at that and see what we wanna do, because we having trouble with them contacting the county, they just go do what they want and leave 16 or whatever in the hole, then they call them for us to go back, fix them, So if we can get some kind of permit in place for them to let us know where they're cut, when they're gonna be cut, or when they're gonna be bored, that it would be a big help to the county. So,
is that something you'd like to have permitted?
I would like to have it, like I said, we can look over it, that's just a few, I can check with some other counties, that was just a few last week, we checked with.
Do you want to have permitting so you can review what they're doing to the road, is that?
Correct, to the roads, and then like I said, some of them won't let them do it in the ditches, cause when we clean ditches, we hit utility lines, water lines and things like that, so, they're making them get back up off, off the ditch bank, to do what they're doing because of, us cleaning ditches and things throughout the county, and they wanna charge the county for,
Do you think it costs us extra money to?
oh, it does, and then they won't send us a bill, like I said, we had a phone line last week, which they didn't send us a bill, it was on top of the grant, I mean, like I said, they're not very, a lot of them, they just running out temporary lines and leaving on that, so we need to know where those are at, we don't want them over, cut the grass.
Yeah, I think we should definitely charge them for, permitting and have some kind of specifications on that. We've got some more issues to deal with permit coming up, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we're gonna talk about that.
Probably either here or 4 months,
Okay.
I'm assuming.
How we'll handle that.
Do y'all want to, look at some of these counties' ordinances, put an ordinance together about it? Probably just do
Did you have a
addendum to our
recommendation?
current road ordinance, because we do have some things about cutting into the roads and so forth. We can kind of,
Scott, I have a lot more that the county sent us, that was just basic charge or things like that, what they do, but I do have their ordinances.
Okay,
I can
I'll
give
give
to
you-
you, I can get them to you, you just look over them, but
Yeah,
they
sure, put
they
something
send a
together.
lot of it to us, when they send it.
just make sure you let me know your key concerns.
Okay. All right. Next thing I have, we had a meeting yesterday, IMS and, Lane Line on, the three striping projects on MLK, Foster Mountain Steam Plant. They give them a notice to proceed, it's Monday, the 23rd to start. It should take them about 2 days to do the project, but they're not sure when they're gonna start. They got 30 days to complete the job. We're gonna sweep ahead of them, but we started today cleaning the roads and fixing the shoulders of the roads they're gonna strike. So they are gonna start sometime after Monday on those three. Other thing I have, had a resident call me yesterday, they started on LA pins, upgrading those roads where IMS met with the residents out there, told them what all they had to do to fix it, so they did get started yesterday on that project. So, I will be looking at it on and off, and then I will let, Mr. Ford know where he can look at it.
All right, who's gonna work?
I'm not sure, they just let me know, residents, let me know the contract will start yesterday.
Okay.
So I can let you know that, but I'm going out there this afternoon.
All right.
I have a meeting with Mike Green this afternoon on Low Water Bridge Road, trying to get some more funding. What they were gonna do was just put a peak dike out in that creek, but we need to do some kind of stabilization to that bank in that curve right there, once they still do a peak dike. So I'm gonna meet him after the meeting sometime this afternoon, to see if we can get him some more funding. I did get an email last week from Norman. I think it was $100 and some thousand. I sent it out to y'all, on some of these 16 projects that we got, more money going towards those projects. So, we did get additional funding for those 16 sites. So, on these EWPs that we're working on now.
So we got additional funding for 16 additional sites.
Correct.
Do they have a breakdown of, how much
Didn't have
funding
any,
they got for each
just
site?
give us a total of what it was. I was gonna get with IMS to see how they, break it down for an engineer, but like I said, it, come from Norman, and I think it was 150 something thousand. I don't have it in front of me, the number.
Well, I would love to know the breakdown.
Okay, like I said, I'll get with, and I think Mr. Ford's online. He wasn't able to make it, but I think he's online, so that'd be something we can ask him, in his report. That's all I have.
16 sites and 150,000.
I don't think so. The additional one,
Oh, additional.
well, those
That's that
nights,
shortfall
yeah,
on the cost increase.
correct.
Right.
We were talking about fuel adjustments or whatever, I guess it was, and so that's what they come up with.
That was on group what?
The 16, so it's probably in 2, 3, and 4, I'm not sure. That's what I said. We can ask Mr. Ford in his, and I, text JKS or Brent to see if he's coming to the meeting. So yeah, Brent, okay. All right,
Yes.
that's all I had. Y'all have anything else?
While you're up there, I'd like to, have we got any update on Robbins Lake Dam issue?
Do not, have not
Still waiting on
received
JKS.
anything, still waiting on JKS. They were waiting on one other contractor to, give them a price on putting a liner through it. Like I said, the question was, or the state won't accept that anyhow. I don't even, had got an answer on that.
Has any more problems been down there since you made that arrest?
No, it has not.
Might want to tell them again.
Yeah, like I said, we, had a resident down there call and want to give us some information on what's going on with our pipes, cycling pipes, and, I went and met with him, called the sheriff sent some investigators down there, met with the resident, give his report. Sheriff went and picked a person up that was fooling with Adams County pipes, and we have not had any more problems since then. So,
It was an ongoing problem that we dealt with for years. And,
for years,
And we gave plenty of warnings and tried to catch them, but, it became a life and
yes,
death scenario where people playing with this dam, which could create flooding downstream, jump the highway, flood houses out, and, unfortunately, we had to do what we had to do, but we gotta take care of our residents and our property and our investments, so,
thanks to the sheriff's department and the residents.
correct.
Come forward.
That's the deed.
So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, and guys, that was evidently, I told Andy, 9:30 as opposed to 9 o'clock, which I do apologize.
No worries.
More than you, Andy.
No words, no words.
I take back all those negative things I said to you about you in the morning.
I'll hold it again.
Good morning. And that fails with Adams County 911 dispatch. We had, doing a report for the beginning of May to now, we had 701 calls from the Natchez PD, Fire Department 7, Adams SO 357. Also, we did prepare a proposed budget for the building that we were requesting. So, county administrator is gonna give it to Scott for the building that we were talking about. So that's being prepared. Also, I do have one more item, but I think it's gonna be
to be determined in, executive session. So you have some questions?
No question.
That's the budget we passed. We're gonna pass it around to the board.
Yeah. And I guess I you want me to explain it?
Yeah, you can make it.
I can explain it. What it is I gave her original budget, which is for that department, $127,736 is the original budget. And she asked that I give her, add to that budget to show you what the budget would be for the next year if we purchase the building. So the cost for the preparation of the console is $135,500. The generator power is $74,200. Intranet is $3,240. The gateway rental, $1,320. The software is $70,000. The gate that goes around the building is $24,288.71. And the building is $397,000, but the debt services spread over the 15 years is, so we're gonna be paying for the whole building right then, it's spread over 15 years. So the debt service amount is $15,000, makes a total adjustment for that first year, $323,548.71, which would increase the budget. That amount makes a total budget of $1,051,284.71. Of course, some of those charges for that first year will not carry on the next year because they just start-up expenses, which the only increase in her budget for the following years would be $89,560, makes a total amount adjustment budget of $817,296.
This is the same building we were talking about last time? It
Yes.
didn't seem like it was that much. I thought it was less than that. It was 300,000?
The building is 275.
Well,
I heard the county understood the increase.
I'm looking for, other charges. The building itself is that amount, but they gotta increase, it's a improvement, which would make, $355,960, and then I'm looking at some other assessments, total $41,008.
Is this improvements we're gonna make? After we buy the building?
Yes.
They can make the improvement.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are we being charged for improvements?
It's increased, I'm looking.
That's in the budget. She's saying it's gonna cost $25,000 to make improvements to the building once you roll on.
No, it must be.
Improvement assessment, 355.
And the building's 275. 295.
$275 anywhere, somebody else got that. Oh, it's up here. Well, they added some more charges.
Are we bidding that work out for the improvements or is the people that own the building having it done?
No, they're not having it done, we're gonna try to do.
We're gonna bid it out. Okay.
We're just, I mean, still a good price for a building. But that's not,
Yeah. Board will take this on advisement.
Yeah.
Take it up now. Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion?
Should we, we're partners with the city, we had to talk with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we can share the cost.
We still don't know
Yeah, I
what
mean,
to
should we
do.
send this over to them so they can look at proposed costs?
Well, then we have issue with the city as soon as we pass the cell phone tax
We have issues with the city since we passed it.
because they didn't think they had to pay anymore.
Oh. They may have issues.
What? Yeah, okay, so we're gonna take it on five?
Yes.
Okay.
We do want to send over the budget to them?
Yes. Nancy, we'll let you go ahead, Joe.
Look,
All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Ayes have it.
please.
I think I may be short on those.
But we didn't know.
Thank you guys for allowing me to appear before you. As a side note, yes, I did have 9:30, but you'll have to watch your Google skills. I literally typed in just confirm that Scott told me it was 9:30. I Googled Adams County agenda meeting. Up pops his agenda that says 9:30 on it, but it was Adams County, Nebraska. So I thought I was on time, so I do apologize. The first one that I want to go over, and once you get it, will be the little 2-pager. From my conversations with Scott and Ms. King, it's our understanding that the county is desiring to look as far as improving some of their parks. And the approximate cost of those improvements is somewhere around $2.4 million. Well, what you have in front of you is last year, the county passed an intent resolution to issue not to exceed $5 million in GEO bonds. That's the one I'm looking at, the little small 2-pager. And so what you have in front of you is a copy of that intent resolution that this county passed, I think in July of last year. So if the desire of the county is to actually go ahead and improve the parks, and if you look on the second page, just to show you that this intent resolution that you've already passed, you have the ability to take care of it. On section 2, the last sentence there, or the last 2 sentences there says, and building and equipping recreation centers and parks within the county. This intent resolution gives you the power to go ahead and issue up to $5 million. I understand though the cost of the potential improvements is somewhere around $2.5 million. So if it's the desire of the county to move forward, we can use this intent resolution. I'll get with Elizabeth Thomas at Butler Snow and Sam Keys to start that process. And so just wanted to throw that out there to show you that if that's the case. If you look at the last page of the same attachment, just to show you what an approximate $2.5 million issue would look like. Since we're talking about rec equipment, we can do GEO bonds, taking that out 20 years. However though, equipment and parts, I would rather finance that over 10 years. And so if you look at the projected debt service for that, you're looking at about $300,000 a year. And we'll be working with Ms. King and Scott as well to find that line item, which I believe we already have inside the budget that can cover that. So again, this is to show you that you've already passed something. If it's the desire of the board to move forward with that, we'll get with bond counsel, we'll move forward and be able to provide $2.5 million once we get a good size of how much the county needs, and we can move forward with that. I don't think there's any action particularly on this. It's just to let you know that if that's the desire, we could move as quickly as possible on that. The second,
Did you include the document scanning in that?
I think so, but I'll go back and I can raise it back up if it needs to, because again, this resolution that you've already passed says not to exceed $5 million. So we have some room once we get a proper sizing. If it's $3 million, we can do $3 million. We just can't go over without the county actually passing an additional resolution to move forward. So if it has I think it has the document scanning in there, but I'll go back and go check.
Yeah.
You're
You're already aware, but the $300,000 came from the previous rec budget that we
Right.
budgeted, and then the additional funds to cover debt service on the document restoration should be offset by being able to cancel that lease that we have, on that, plus a little bit of chip in from the Tenth Street clerk, her office.
My question is, when I see before me, I need some clarification on exactly, it's a lot of stuff in here.
It is.
And I don't think if we're gonna do a bond issue to deal with the 2 items that we talking about dealing with, I I don't know if we need all this additional stuff in here, because that's confusing to me.
So just as a general rule, when bond attorneys will draft that resolution, they like to give you a wide range of powers so that you can pick and choose some of the projects that you want to do. This gives you the opportunity to move forward. And if you look in there, that just as Mr. Gray says, it has a lot of different potential purposes or potential uses of those funds. That's why I was sort of trying to focus you on that last sentence. And it should, if you look on section 2 again on the second page, it will say down at the bottom, and after you get through everything else that's in there, and building and equipping recreation centers and parks within the county. So you have the authority to do it. You can also do the other stuff as well if you want to, but this gives you the specific authority to fix things at the park.
Yeah, you want to maximize your ability to do it in case something comes up or whatever. It just gives you more flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we did a tent resolution on what was it, a Keyword project, but that warehouse came up and we were able to, in the Keyword project is made, so we were able to use that intent resolution to acquire quickly the warehouse because it gave us that ability, that flexibility. So that's why you kind of have that in there, trusting yourself, you're not gonna,
I don't have a problem with that, Mr. Attorney, but I'm gonna tell you what I do have a problem with. We go borrow $5 million and it got all this language in here, and we just go to spending the money and it don't come before this board. I got a problem with that. I need to know on the front end exactly what we gonna do with the taxpayers' money on the front end. I don't need to be finding out on the back end. So if we gonna say we gonna do parks, I want a list of the parks. If we gonna do roads, I want a list of the roads. I don't want us jumping all over the place and picking and choosing, because that ain't gonna be right. You're gonna have problems with board members when you do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever we do, we need to do it in decent and order.
sure. And the intent resolution doesn't commit the county at all. Before you make your commitment, that stuff needs to be laid out on what we're gonna do with the money, and that's in the process.
Yeah, because that's what I was about to say. Once we get this $5 million or whatever, it still has to come back to the board for approval of what we're doing anyway.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So,
This is not
yeah.
binding at all, which is why I say, give me as much, flexibility as possible, because when you start looking at a project, like a park, maybe you need to connect a gas line or something. Well, we wanna have the ability to do whatever we can for it. When you're doing the kind of investigatory stages, that's what your intent for. But before it becomes binding, you need to have your projects in mind. Absolutely.
And hopefully to give you some comfort, we would need that too, because when we go out and go talk to the banks, we were gonna show them, hey, they say they were thinking about doing 5 million, however, they're only gonna do 2.5, and this is where the money's gonna go. And so that's gonna be in the next set of documents. We need that information as well. But this is just, as Scott said, the intent gives you wide ranging, and then we're gonna narrow it down based on the projects and the desires of the county.
Well, I'm gonna make it plain and clear where our babies can understand. I understand exactly what this is and how it operates, but what I'm saying is, I want our board members to understand this real clear. When it comes to spending this money, because there was some talk that we were gonna spend money here, we were gonna spend money here, and it wasn't brought to this board attention. That's what I'm trying to get clear. Whatever we do, everybody needs to be at the table making the decision. 2 or 3 people is not gonna make the decision for how we spend the taxpayers' money, and there's 5 people on this board. Thank you, Mr. President.
If we'll look at the second handout that I passed everybody. The handout is for you to read a little bit later on, but to give you the sense. In 2018, the state of Mississippi passed the Modernization Infrastructure Act. What that act allowed was, and I'm gonna go backwards, we all are charged sales and use taxes on goods and services that we use or buy here in the state of Mississippi. The state of Mississippi has been collecting this tax since 1932. However, the act that was passed in 2018 the state decided, I'm going to start giving back a portion of the use tax that we already collect back to the cities and the counties. They made a decision, they're going to start giving 15%
of their use tax that they collect back to the counties and another 15% back to the cities. So in 2020, this county and all other counties and all other cities, we started receiving 25% of what they're supposed to receive. Last year, you received 50% of what you're supposed to receive. This year, you're receiving 75%. Next year, you'll get your full allotment of what's due to Adams County, and therefore, henceforth and forevermore. I'm going to skip to the end of the presentation. If you would, just look at the second to last page, and it makes it more focused on Adams County. If you see up there at the top, and I'm looking at the one that says Adams County up at the top with all the numbers on it. In 2020, Adams County received $181,000. That was their participation. That was their allotment of that use tax. Last year, you received $500,000. This year, you received one payment, and we'll put a stop right there. The state sends out 6 months worth of your collections every January and every July. So far, you received your January payment, and it's somewhere around $450,000, $460,000. That $934 is just me doubling the first payment that you've received so far. Next year, you'll probably receive somewhere around $1.2, $1.3 million. What the state decided in the act, it limited what the county can use this money for. You can only use it for roads, streets, and bridges. That's it. Matter of fact, every year, you have to do a true-up. Ms. King and Mr. Scott have to do a true-up every year and say, this is where we spent this money that we received from the state. So since you can only use it for roads, streets, and bridges, you can take this money on a pay-as-you-go basis. Every time you get in the $1.2 million starting next year, you do it on roads, streets, and bridges. And you can go ahead and do that. However, the state passed another amendment in 2021 that says, hey, not only can you do roads, streets, and bridges, you can also use it to pay debt. So the question to the board is, we can continue to take this $1.2 million and fix some projects. But if you have a capital improvement plan, if you have a list of projects that when it deals with roads, streets, and bridges that you want to knock out, you can use that money, strictly that money, no other money that the county receives, to pay for a potential bond issue. Since we're talking about roads, streets, and bridges, again, I limit this to only 10 years for a couple of reasons. One, you have banks fighting over it because this fits in their nice little wheelhouse. Two, I think we know how infrastructure is going right now with the trucks and all the other things. So you want to make sure that your debt lines up with the useful life of that asset, in this case, the roads and the bridges. And so if you look down at the bottom, with the amount of money that Adams County is going to start receiving, if you bond out those next 10 years worth of payments, you can borrow right now about $8.5 million that you can go and knock a couple of projects off of your project list. Again, if Adams County has that type of project list, and that's their desire to do that. I'm gonna estimate around 3% using today's rates. It might, with everything that's going on, that rate probably is gonna go up a little bit higher too. But you would have your annual debt service on that would be, look at the bottom, $997,000 a year. So that still would leave you almost $250,000 a year to fix some other problems that would come up from time to time. And again, you're only bonding out the next 10 years worth of payments that you're getting directly from the state that you would use. So you're not truly affecting the budget if that's what you're doing, and you're not increasing taxes. The other pages inside the handout are mostly frequently asked questions that you can read if you need to go to sleep later on tonight. But I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody on the board might have.
Anybody have any questions?
This is the sheet right here that I passed out a couple of board meetings ago. And we are having shortfalls on Morgantown Road. Now, I didn't get into the $8.5 million part. And I didn't want to get into that because the conference, they explained all that. But I did want to get into this year and next year money that, I don't know if we're gonna borrow additional money or whatever the case may be, but we need to borrow the money to go and finish out Morgantown Road. Now, we need to make a decision if we're gonna borrow $2.1 million or we're gonna borrow more than that to do additional road. But I would like to see the shortfall of Morgantown to be in it.
Do we have I know we had an estimate cost, but do we have the figure on what we need for the shortfall in the town hall.
What do you think, 4.5
He said 4.5.
million?
He said 4.5,
Yes.
and then we got two, what?
We got
2.4.
2.4.
Well,
And it's
$2 million.
4.5. It's 2.4.
$3 million.
Yeah.
2 million shortfall.
Well, there's a lot of major roads, especially Morgantown Road, I'm not trying, that we can address with this particular amount of money. And so, like you wanna do with the recreation, you know, have a project list for recreation, have a project list for your roads. If that's the route you need to take.
That's the route I thought we was going.
Nah, we didn't discuss this right here.
And that's why we find,
I didn't bring that up because what I heard up there, didn't translate in my brain to remember all that. I just brought up the top part by our 2022 and our 2023 money that I know we gonna get. And that's the part of the money I was gonna suggest, talk to Supervisor Gaines about, that we suggest that we get that shortfall from there. What I'm saying is, if we wanna do additional, then we can look down here, what Mr. Naaman was talking about, and add additional funds, where we can be able to do other projects in other parts of the community.
Okay. President, let me ask this, Ms. King, I know I had a question on the, use tax money, for 2020. I wanted to start you. But you don't have to answer.
Thought you were trying to figure out if it's 2020 or 2021 or 20.
No, you don't have to answer the question.
And while they over there talking, the reason I'm in a hurry, because I know, everybody knows what's gonna happen next year. And we don't wanna get into a campaign year, talking about we finna do Morgantown Road. That need to happen right now. We need to go on, make up our mind, cause there's so much you can do, when you running for office at the end of your term. Is that not correct, Scott?
But you can do this.
I mean, we need to go ahead and
Yeah.
do all, if you're doing road projects, go ahead and do it now, you're absolutely right.
Because,
You start getting, you're exactly right, Ricky, you start getting into a lot of limitations of what you can and can't do during election time.
right.
That I can't just recall from the top of my head what they are precisely, but there are significant limitations what you can do in an election year. So I guess what I'm asking the board is that y'all want to start, first of all, want to get Angie and Nandy to have a more precise, how much money we have freed up to use for debt service, because some of that money's already allocated, and I want to give Nandy a precise figure on that. Because we don't want to create a shortfall.
That's the question I needed to ask Angie, because I know I asked about the use tax money. You gave us all these figures for our use tax money, but in 2022, we have our use tax money, but 2021 and 2020, that use tax money has been used, right?
For 2021.
Okay, and that's why I had asked her, because I didn't realize that our 2021 use tax money had been used. I know, but I
And that-
remember at one point.
Doing that allowed us to get the raises that our road crew, you know, needed and so forth too. So y'all, yeah, that was a,
We didn't give them a raise out of use tax money.
well, we have expenses that we were able to offset. So if we were spending $300,000 on asphalt, we were able to use $300,000 from the use tax money to pay for that asphalt, thus
Right.
freeing $300,000 for that
So
road.
let me ask this question, when we using use tax money, does that come to the board for approval? When we talk about, you know, everything needs to be approved, because I didn't realize the 2021 use tax money had been used, and I questioned it, it was already gone. And I didn't realize it was gone.
Yeah, it gets used when we approve a budget of expenditures. We project how much our income's gonna be and how much our expenditures are gonna be. So when you set your budget or amend your budget, that's how you end up doing it.
Right.
But there is additional funds besides what we've already allocated. We just don't wanna shortcut ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I wanna make sure he has a good number so we can
So
do.
right now, in our use tax money, we only have the 934.
Library, we don't have 934 yet, because we haven't received all of it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Got them coming.
Any
So-
more questions?
So does the board want to, we can get a more precise number to Nandy, get a more precise figure, and do that within the next day or so? Nandy can respond back to us and we can, y'all can figure out a project list.
Second.
Got to approve the motion. Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion?
The only discussion I have is, we've got several grants that we're looking at, is that still not the case with Morgantown
Yeah,
Road?
we still looking at
We
that.
can apply for them, it's just extremely unlikely we can get that grant.
Okay, well, thank you for that inspiration.
I mean, those are for bridges, they don't do them.
Now, what I talked to the president about this morning, I was gonna ask, the board to, we don't need a motion for you to send our Commissioner Tom King a letter and let him know that we applied for the ER money, and we would appreciate his consideration and working with us to give us some of that money. And they ain't got nothing to do with this right here, but I still think we need to send him a letter to let him know that we applied for the ERBR money and we need his help.
That's right.
That's our commission.
And Kevin, if we get that grant, when you don't say in your intent resolution, you wanna do these X amount of roads, you do that when you're closing on a bond. So then you'd be able to free up $2.4 million to use on roads as well. 'Cause
Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there and you shot me down, so, but I'm okay, I'll recover.
I didn't shoot you down, just trying to make your
Yeah.
expectations
Yes,
realistic.
ma'am.
Can you repeat that motion?
The motion by Supervisor Gray, second
What
by,
was it though?
To continue
To let them work out the kinks and get the details of the.
Right.
Angie and Mandy. Yeah.
Kevin, do you know Commissioner Tom King?
Did we carry that?
Spoke to
motion?
him one time.
No.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy.
Martin.
Back to departmental reports. Mr. Darby,
Me? Wait, Larry,
Sweet.
come here, I'm short and sweet, come on.
I'm sure.
I have, a real property board order for, Valerie and Larry Sloan. As y'all know, y'all might not know, Wayne has been out for a couple of months. He had a, total ankle replacement, so he's been out. But, Valerie Sloan came in and, she talked to Larry, she talked to Myron, just got through talking to Wayne last week. She purchased the building at 507 State Street. Wayne put it on the road for $113,000. She only paid like $25,000 for the land and the building. Wayne went back out there and looked. The inside's gutted and the walls are leaning, so he wanted to do a board order to reduce it down to about $25,700 from $127,000.
You heard the request.
Hold up. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion?
Mr. Slow. Did you hear all that?
I'm sorry.
Could you repeat that again while our attorney can hear that, please?
Wayne wanted to reduce it after he went out there and looked at it, went inside and saw that it was gutted and one of the walls was leaning, and he wanted to drop it back down, and instead of having it at 127, he wanted to put it back to $25,740.
Okay.
And $125 was the purchase cost?
No, 25,000.
That's what I say.
25,000 was purchase cost.
That's why I said 125, the purchase cost.
25,000.
25,000.
She said it wasn't 25.
Oh, I thought you said 125.
No,
I'm
she said
sorry.
wasn't.
I say was.
No, it was 25,000.
Correct.
You can reduce, this was done within the 2021 tax roll.
Correct.
You can reduce, you don't have to, but it's within the discretion of the Board of Supervisors upon application of either a taxpayer or in this case, the tax assessor. to reduce the assessment value of a property up until that August 1st meeting. Then we no longer have that discretion. It has to go for a judge at that point.
Okay, my only question is, you say Mr. Wayne been out?
Yeah, he went out there last week, yes, sir. He came back.
Oh, I thought you said he was out.
No, he's been out for a month and a half.
So he's back?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He went out there to State Street last week.
And nothing has been done to his building.
No, ma'am. Not yet. They're wanting to do something, but they
All
haven't
in
done it.
favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Now, I have 6 that Monica from Tri-State found. Someone mapped out there at Route 61, the self-storage buildings out there. Somebody mapped them and put it on map 7. When Monica mapped it, it came out to map 66. So I have 6 that were on the wrong map. That comes to a total of about $2,000 lost. It actually, it's not even where map 57 says it's supposed to be. It's over at Azalea across the street. So there was 6 that's been double mapped.
Again, the taxpayer or the tax assessor can petition the board if something's been doubly assessed, which is that what
This
doubly
is
assessed?
correct. It was
It's
double
within the
mapped.
discretion, but not, it's not mandatory, but it's within the discretion of the board to adjust the statute.
I ain't got one question.
Who mapped it first?
Who responsible for doing the mapping?
Now Tri-State is.
I wanna know.
Now, I don't know about who mapped it
Well, that's the
first.
problem then, if we got stuff being mapped wrong, and you don't know who mapped it, that's a problem.
Well, they're not here anymore.
Oh, it's a former employee.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all you had to say. That's better than saying you don't know who mapped it, that make me think,
I have 2 or 3 that I could guess, but they're not here with us
okay,
anymore.
you just.
Tri-State's fixing
She
it.
asked her who's doing the mapping, and she said tri-state.
Tri-State's fixing it.
Over at the water.
Mhm.
Peter Day.
I don't like pointing fingers.
Ma'am, let me explain something to you. It ain't about pointing fingers. It's about trying to make sure that the same thing don't happen again. So if you don't
No,
correct the problem, then it's gonna happen again.
it won't
So
happen
it
with
ain't about
Tri-State.
pointing fingers.
No, it won't happen with Tri-State.
There's gonna be errors with 17,000 parcels,
But
and we do this probably 10, 15 times a year, having to adjust the tax rolls.
so moved.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All
Thank
in favor?
that's all.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And we're good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, short person.
I know, I'm sure.
Got a couple things that I'd like to get on the agenda. I'd like to see if I can find out what the status is on our new voting machines. Does anyone know what the status is on those bids?
That's gonna be county administrator.
Did you hear that, Angie? He just threw it at you, Angie.
No, right over to you.
What it is.
But he wants to know the status of the new voting machines. Where are we at with that?
Or you got to throw it over to the purchasing clerk. She's. Is Jackie in there?
You did good. Good passing of the button. That was good. The only reason I'm asking that right now, people, we're getting ready to do this primary, and I've got more broken equipment than I have good equipment. I'm struggling just to get enough pieces of equipment available for this primary, and it's not gonna be a busy primary in our estimation. So we need to find out what the status is on it, because we may need it sooner than later. So maybe she could get
She's
that.
checking on her now because she was still here.
The other issue that we've got is this issue on redistricting. Now, I went to redistricting training in Jackson as required by the statute through the Secretary of State's office so that I could be certified to do redistricting on the system. And I submitted back in April that travel voucher and that time for the training, and somehow or another it never got passed through, although I gave all the paperwork to Corvette 3 weeks ago.
So I don't know why that hasn't been approved. Is there a question on it?
Yeah, it is a question. It is a question,
Okay.
I asked the question.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, why you needed to go, and you own it. So if you go get you some
I own it.
redistricting training on whatever you talking about, if you get sick, then who else in the office don't know anything?
They'll have to be trained too. The Secretary of State's office limited one person per county. There were 30 people per student, and there's 82 counties. I was fortunate enough to get my name on the list in the first class. They're not gonna go out and train. It's an extensive training. It takes a full day. And I was familiar with doing it before, but they changed all the software. They updated all the state election management systems software for redistricting. So we had to be recertified again. And it's become obviously more complicated, which is what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be simple though, so that somebody could get in there and accidentally move a street or a road. We had that type of issue. You remember when we were trying to do the supervisor lines before and found out that we had to go by the map and not the legal descriptions. So anyway, I had to go up to that training. If I am not certified by the Secretary of State, I do not get access to do it, and the redistricting cannot be done on the computer system.
Oh, okay.
Which means you can't place the voters in the right districts.
Huh?
If you aren't certified, you can't make those changes to move the voters
You
around.
don't move voters.
Pardon?
You talking about, we gotta get a clear understanding of what you talking about, because, to my understanding, when we redistrict, the only people can move voters is this board of supervisors. Election commission can't move no voters unless we approve the, redistricting plan, then you can move them according to the plan that we approve, but you can't move nobody on your own.
That's what I'm talking about, Ricky. I'm
Okay.
not saying that I'm doing the lines, but when you make that decision, and it isn't just your decision, we have to redistrict the state lines. The state Senate seats, the congressional seats, court seats, we have to redo that, and those are approved by the state. But they need to be changed in the system so that the voters in the county vote for the correct individual in the correct seat. Now, you have a responsibility to do the county stuff here, and we were told in the last conference call that you need to make that decision and adopt those maps by January 1 because of the federal laws that restrict you changing the lines after you qualify for the office. So you need to have Scott check with him, the Secretary of State office told us that explicitly that it needs to be done. I don't know where you are on it because nobody has contacted us about it at all. But you need to double check on that and make sure that we're in good shape on that too.
Let me set the record straight, because, I had a problem when last time we was running and some people was moved out of District 5 and put in District 4, which election commissioner, nobody else can do that, because we didn't even redistrict then. So those people was moved. So when it came up saying you was going to a redistricting class, I didn't understand why, because if you would've came over here and explained it like you explained, you was going because of X, Y, Z, then you probably would've got it approved, because we had a bad situation.
That's no problem. I don't have any problem with that at all. But we do have the Peers Committee is gonna be sending us maps, and we're gonna have to start redistricting for those offices. And that's your House seats, Senate seats, court districts. And remember, we got court districts elections is not in the primary because they're nonpartisan. But the court races are all in November. That's why we're gonna need to get that equipment if we possibly can before that general election.
We're working hard on that right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any results on what?
That's the key thing is getting the results because there's $195,000 available to the county and we're only spending 148.
And the board's approved the purchasing, it's
So-
up to the purchasing department by law to make the purchasing.
Yeah.
And we'll get our,
And we'll,
look, I'm really, again, high on our purchasing clerk, I think a lot of our employees are, but, she's still getting trained and whatnot, so we'll
Yeah.
we'll get with you and get an update as to what that is and so forth.
My thing is, has it even been submitted to the purchasing clerk? That's the thing.
Well,
It probably
again,
hasn't even been submitted to her.
I'll have to ask purchasing what's been submitted, what's been done.
It has not been submitted to her, so I mean, she can't do anything, she don't know anything about it. And it's up to Larry to submit that to her, right?
I did submit it, I submitted it to the board.
I guess I'll have to do with the prior purchasing clerk to see where she left off.
Okay.
Because she didn't,
You mean I need to do a purchase requisition, is that what you're saying?
no.
No.
Oh, because it's a capital expenditure and I don't do that.
Yeah, you're right, you'll do that, and it's
Yeah.
been submitted to purchasing, we'll get with them to get a direction to get a purchase.
In the short, we was at the Kentucky Derby and, we changed horses in the middle of the race.
Hey, it came out good, 80-1 odds, that's pretty good. You watched it too, obviously.
Yeah, and we want these machines, but nobody on the board wants to pay for them out of their own pocket, and so
No,
make sure we
no.
purchase them legally.
Yeah, we can.
Is that, yeah,
We did a budget
I'll make a
amendment and
motion.
everything for it, it's already in the budget,
It's in
you
the
just have to follow the right
Procedures.
procedures to purchase.
Supervisor Wilson made a motion to approve the trial.
A second.
Is it reimbursement?
It's reimbursement, it's a reimbursement.
Travel, right?
Yeah.
Reimbursement.
Reimbursement, we got to approve this reimbursement
Need a
since we didn't
second.
approve this travel.
Can I get a second?
I second it.
Second.
And for your information, people have questions on travel, make requests all the time, so that's why, you know, if you send it as early as possible, and there was questions, we could have come up beforehand and so forth.
Well, I did.
Not picking on you,
I submitted this a month
this,
ago.
this happens, you know,
Let me say this too.
Yeah.
People submit travel and we don't understand some of their travel. I mean, cause this just happened a month
Yeah.
ago too with someone else. We prefer if that person would come to the board and explain why they're traveling to these places. Because like Supervisor Gray said, when that came up, he asked the question, why? Because he know that we are the board that do the redistrict and he just wanted to know why you attended. And when you don't have an answer, you don't approve a travel.
But see, nobody asked me, nobody told me a thing until I finally asked Angie where the check was. And then I was told, well, it wasn't approved. Nobody told me it wasn't approved.
Yeah, but I'm saying we.
But somebody needs to
that somebody would
communicate me.
come To the board
Yeah.
and say why they're traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that. I think that's probably a good idea.
yeah, they weren't picking on you, that's
No.
a common thing.
But it happens to other people too.
All in favor?
I-
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I think he is right, once somebody travel is not approved, then somebody need to communicate to that person and let them know why it wasn't approved. If they have some additional information that they need to bring to the board, then they can bring it to the board. So, I guess somebody messed up on them, but it's correct
Sure.
now.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
How's everybody this morning?
Morning.
Hope y'all are having a fun one. I was hoping, today we could, we've talked about it in the past, go ahead and, I'm asking the board to approve the ad valorem tax exemption for loss prevention services, Franklin Street properties at, 521 Franklin Street. Project again is an estimated 200 jobs with an estimated payroll of $6.878 million and true value of the exempted property is $4.366 million. We've got we presented the application in front of the board previously, and there's a copy that I've got for Brandy or Scott and whoever else. But like I said, in the past, this is our standard exemption. Mississippi Development Authority and the Department of Revenue has authorized them to be a certified call and data center, and this allows those exemptions to flow to them, and so we're seeking those exemptions on their behalf.
You heard the request, Mr. Russ.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson,
Second.
second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion?
One thing, you give me all the qualifications for, okay.
Yes, sir.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Keep it. All I got. More.
Is that it, Chairman?
That's it. I appreciate it. I'm short and sweet today. Kept y'all in here last time for an hour and a half. Y'all probably had.
Still mad about it too.
I know, I'm shutting up. I'm shutting up. I know when to be quiet.
Who's next? Go ahead, Brian.
Good morning, everyone. Our group 2 and group 3 EW2 projects, I need to ask for the board to approve, a notice of award for each of these. I think we're ready to go forward with that this time.
You heard the request. County engineer.
So,
Who is it? Is it Cameron Production?
Group 2 is Camo Construction Company, and group 3 would be Hope Enterprise LLC.
Did you have a motion?
I made a motion, so it needs.
Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
I ain't got no discussion, but, could you just, do you have a list of group 2?
Here it is.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Let's call them out. Just call them out.
Okay, these sites are Cemetery Road number 10, Cemetery Road number 12, Church Hill Road, and Old Highway 84, number 2 and number 3.
Okay, what about the next group?
Deerfield
The
Road.
next, yes,
Kudzu Lane, Old Meadow Road, and Providence Road.
Okay, thank you.
Group 3, the contractor for that is signed the contract, ready to go.
They have the contract documents.
Are they okay with the contract documents?
I believe so. They're processing and getting their bids, and they're going to return them. It should be this week, is what I was told.
So we approve all this that you just gave out, you're approving for us to go ahead and.
To award those, and they're, both contractors are processing the contract documents, they're getting their bonds and signing contracts. And we'll get those back, and then we'll come back in and have a pre-construction meeting and a notice to proceed, and they'll go to construction.
Mr. President,
Yes.
But they're okay getting started, you know, it's
As
just,
soon
it's
as,
just getting.
both contractors, it's my understanding that they're ready to go with these.
That's not the case.
That's not the case?
No.
No, I mean, what we discussed at the last.
Yeah, well, it's just left the last meeting, but that's why I'm asking about group 3. If they're ready to sign, I want to address them, if they'll sign as is, I want them to sign as is before we address what they're asking for.
I mean, I've sent them the documents, I do not have them back yet, they was supposed to get them back to me this week.
Did y'all receive anything from Norman on that 150, and I didn't bring a number of the extra money for those 16 sites that we're working on?
On the cost increase on that,
Did you?
he said that had been approved at their level, but they're trying to get the documents back. I think it's a 424 for the county to sign there, and we had to, I think they didn't have the right, maybe they had Ricky as the signature on that, and we're switching it over to Wes. And so that, I assume.
Yeah, we got a problem. Oh, I could have been on there, cause
I mean, this is an RCS, and that's just this department had asked, is like, look, this name is on here, and so we're officially.
Yeah, let's go ahead and word it. The contracts as presented, and then we're gonna have a discussion as soon as we hear back from group 3. Probably have to meet again.
Okay.
On group 2. What we're hoping is to capture group 3 as is.
Yes.
Don, would you have something?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna ask, that she's fixing for me that email again, where I can have it, but I wanna see if it's a breakdown, I don't think it is a breakdown of the, no, yeah, anything on it, I'm trying to get it.
This does have Ricky's name on it.
Yes, it just got, it didn't ever get switched over in NRCS.
Has
I'd
everyone
like to get it
signed
ironed on
up?
that, so I mean, we're ready to go. I mean, I've got everything parked, ready to go.
what's the
On
whole,
multiple sites.
Trying to, the price increase, everything increased on last, diesel fuel went up, am I correct? Everything, cause when they had it, when they beat it out back then, you know, diesel went $5.50 an hour, and that's when we was in there last time.
that's the whole up?
Yeah, that's the whole of it, and they was waiting on NRCS to see what they do, approve of some money, they did approve some money, but they don't have the actual breakup of the 16 sites, so I guess they're trying to get it together. But they do have some improvements, so I guess we can.
They're 2 different contractors.
Yeah.
Is that 16 sites combined with 2 or 3?
Group 2 is the 7-site contract, and group 3 has some of the 16
Yes,
in
it's
there.
9,
So
it's 9 sites.
it's 2 different NRCS contracts between the 2 groups.
So you said NRCS, they did give an additional, funding for these sites?
We're working on trying to get the cost increase in place.
There-
We gotta award these 2 projects. The contracts have been sent over to group 3. We need a response back on that, and then we'll get to group 2. We're gonna award it, but we're gonna have to get to group 2. All right?
And like I said, I was being straight up front from the get-go.
We'll work that.
All right, the only.
You still got, yeah, that's a motion.
Need a vote on it.
Yes.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, the other, I've got 2 invoices to submit from JKS. It's on, the first is on group 2. And this would be for the bid acceptance in the amount of $1,428.
You heard the request.
It's complete.
Well, we're at the bid, we received the bids on that, and that's where we're at in our contract with the county. As far as, we'll still have the CE&I when they start construction.
Go ahead.
And then I have, a invoice on group 3. And this would be for the design and the bid acceptance for $47,500.
What project is that?
Those would be,
Which one?
the, Deerfield Road, Providence Road, Old Meadow Road, and Cutson Lane is group 3.
You heard the request from the county engineer.
Is those the only 2 you have?
Yes, those are the only 2 I have.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
And that's all I have, unless there's other questions.
Any questions from the board?
How you coming on, State Park Road? That's
They're working out there. I think they're getting ready to put the road bed, the gravel on the road bed here within the next week or so. There.
No hold up, no delay.
No holdups that I know of.
Okay.
All
Is the finish date still
Did they move the, electrical?
in office?
right. Not real sure. I know everything was getting ready to do that. I believe they were relocated, but I don't know for sure
Okay.
on the ground.
They've been out there south.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Board. How y'all doing?
Tomorrow.
I got quite a bit on the agenda this morning.
Awesome. We ain't seen you in a while.
I know it's been a minute. Ain't been by choice, though. I can assure you that. Ain't been by choice. But I do have quite a bit on the agenda this morning. I want to make sure I start off on the right foot, so one of the things we do is try to get this phone stop beeping. Earlier, I thought I had it on silent. Anyway, the first thing I want to go ahead and get out the way so I don't hold up you all's time is, of course, we got positions open over there and I need to get some new hires approved on here. Supervisor Milton, President Milton, you should have these already. Eric Freeman at $16.50.
We're gonna do new hires first.
Yes.
He's a new hire?
Well, he's a rehire. You know, he went out on medical, but he's been cleared to come back. So we're gonna utilize him.
What was that?
Derek Freeman.
Was he ever, I mean, you said he went out on medical, so did that stop his pay or anything, or he still was on your payroll while he was out on
Well,
medical?
he was on there until his time ran out.
Okay,
But he's been gone over a year now.
oh,
But
okay.
he's cleared. He's
I'm
got
here,
out.
I'm not seeing that.
Okay.
The only new, I've got two new hires. Xavier Williams
Robert Green and Derek Freeman.
and LaShonda Granger.
It's on here. I got it right here somewhere.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying I don't have them.
Okay.
Every other one I've got
Give him.
pay rate change.
Yeah.
So how many new hires you got? 4?
Let's see. Derek Freeman, Shonda Granger. and
Sean.
Robert Green. I'm sorry.
Xavier Williams. I've got that one.
You got LaShonda Granger. Derek Freeman probably on one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we got Derek Freeman, Xavier Williams, and LaShonda Granger. These are all new hires.
At the same pay rate?
No.
Derek Freeman's at $16.50 an hour, annual rate $34,320. Xavier Williams, $13.23 hourly, $27,518 $49 annual. And LaShonda Granger is the same, $13.23 hourly, $27,518 $49 annual. You heard the request, Sheriff.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Yeah, let me ask a question, let me ask you this, Sheriff.
Yeah.
You got different pay rate, is some of these,
Yeah.
jailers?
Yeah, some of them jailers, 2 of them are jailers. No, 3 of them are jailers and 1 of them is an office worker.
2, it's only 3. 2 of them.
LaShonda Granger and Xavier going to the jail, Derek Freeman's going to the front office.
Correct.
Okay, now let me ask you this question also. Your jailers, are they all making it 13 something?
That's what I'm trying to get them to now.
Okay,
You know, because at first we had all that about the probation and all that, but to keep confusion down, I just let them all be even field. That's what I'm asking for. There's a lot going on.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Appreciate that, thank you. I do want you all to know several things though.
Do what we need to do the others. Right?
Oh, okay.
you got some more?
Oh, the jailers?
For the pay rate change?
Yes. And this is putting them all on the same 13 and 23. Robert Green, you already got that one, he's a new hire, but Robert Irwin Lancaster, Shanika Purnell, and Shartae Tim's.
Got all
Okay.
So,
motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion?
What are these for?
Pay rate change to 13.23.
Okay. They already been hired, but they just changed it.
Yeah, they already been here, so.
All in favor?
I had a discussion.
Okay, back up.
Let me ask you this too. Is it within your budget or is it gonna have to be a budget amendment?
It
Should be a budget amendment because that rate was at 12.6.
I thought you, said the last meeting though that you had, remember you asked the question, Ricky, Supervisor Gray, you asked, did you budget for this with
It
the?
wasn't budgeted to change everybody. I mean, it's, I don't have a problem with the rate, but I'm just saying, it has to be.
Budget amendment. So we have to take care of the budget amendment, see what the amount is and then get it approved.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a budget amendment for the sheriff department anyway,
Okay.
before the end of the year.
I
We
mean,
do it every year.
that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that,
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
I do want you all to know that several things have happened since I've been absent from the meetings. One of the things that happened is the Adams County Sheriff's Office, I know you all gonna read Officer Magazine, but it's a nationally published magazine. And the Sheriff's Office was recognized in that national magazine last month, in April. So that's a pretty big deal for them to have picked us out of a lot of sheriff's offices that they could have spotlighted in that national magazine for us to do for them to do a full spread on. So I'll make sure you all get a copy of that too as well. The other thing is that I'm on this board, executive board for Small and Rural, which is another law enforcement association that is really rising fast. And they paid for me to come to Virginia, to the FBI Academy, to attend jail administrator school. And I learned a whole lot. Learned a lot that even has me more concerned about some other things that I'll get into after a while. But what happened at that school though, just beyond the knowledge, is the contacts that were made, because all week we were up there with the DOJ, with the cops people, with all the head inspectors and all these different folks from across the country, all in this very intense training, some of the toughest training I've ever attended, period, whether it's for law enforcement or college. But anyway, they just reached out again yesterday and they're gonna send me back to Washington. They're paying for this, not the county, to speak on behalf of agencies our size in reference to what can the people in Washington DC do when it comes to training and conditions and different things to help rural communities like ours. So I said all that to say that I'm gonna get into it a little bit further down, but I don't want anything that I say today to be taken wrong. I know you guys' hearts is in the right place and you're trying to balance budgets and do all these things that you can to make things right with projects like Morgantown Road, trying to make Chairman happy over here while he's doing what he's doing. But I don't want y'all to forget about the jail either, what's going on there. And one of the things that I was gonna ask the board is to participate in something that the Department of Justice is trying to bring to this area. They really wanna bring it to Natchez, but it's gonna take you all decide whether you all wanna participate. And they want to do a 3-day, and I know that's a lot for you guys, that you work and do what you do, but they wanna do a 3-day class and they want it hosted here in Adams County, where they get the sheriffs, the supervisors, and the county administrators and the jail administrators, and do a 3-day class. It's not gonna be that bad, but they want to do a 3-day class on how the county should function when it comes to working with the jail and why it's important for the county and the jail to be on the same page. I would love for you all to participate if you're willing to, but they're trying to get Hinds County down here, from everybody from Hinds to here, and they're gonna pay for all this if a couple of you all will commit. So I would need you all to really think about that, because I'm telling you, it was very eye-opening, the things that I learned up there, and I can only imagine what it would be like coming from you all's perspective as well, in the same season, so people can be on the same page.
Have you got approximate dates?
No, I told them I would get back with you all after this board meeting and see if you, first of all, if you all are willing, and second of all, what dates you will be available, because they gonna cater this to Adams County. And they gonna come down here and they gonna teach everybody why it's important and how to get on the same page. They're gonna talk about funding and all this stuff. Cause I'm telling you, it was brain overload up there for me in that class, but it was out. And one thing I got out of this class was this. I realized that you all have some very high standards, and so do I when it comes to how we serve our constituents. But you know, we judged on how we serve the least of us. And when it comes to the jail, I'm just gonna be very frank. I feel like the standards that we set for the rest of the community, when you look at the jail does not reflect the standards that we set for ourselves and how we serve the rest of the community. And it really challenged my heart up there. And I ain't trying to make nobody cry or nothing like that, but I'm just being honest. When you sit there and you look at it, when you look at what's going on and what could be done and how it could be done and put that thing together, it just made me really just think hard on a lot of stuff. And so that's what I'm asking you all, if you all will consider this so I can give these people a word, whether they need to bring it here, whether they need to take it on to Hines County. So
I'll do my best to attend whatever you come up with. Give me some dates.
I'll get y'all some dates then.
Yeah, see about the dates first, see if we're available.
Well, that's what I wanted. I didn't know when you all's conferences were, so that's why I wanted to ask, but I guess I'll get with Corvette and see when all you all's conferences are.
Okay.
Because they're gonna bring it, but they're gonna try to get at least 18 people in this class to come down here and do this. So I will get back with them.
They gonna bring some money with them?
Well, truth be told, I just met with them Tuesday. Not Tuesday, I met with them, last Tuesday on Zoom. And that's what we were talking about was funding. But the reality of it is the way the funding is not really funding for construction, but what they can do is they can do some things for mental health, but it can't be a full construction. And the lady that I talked to was the same lady that you really need to be meeting with, all of you all, in reference to the grants, because she was the one who was approving all of you all's grants for your roads and everything. They all ran through this one lady. And I had a chance to build a really good relationship with her, and she told us how to win these grants. And she told us what 3 things you need to give you 15 points on the front end of how to win your grants. And this just doesn't apply to jails. And that's why I'm hoping you all just be open-minded and take some time out your schedule and really see it. Because when I tell you, I was up there with the head of cops, head of the Department of Justice, BJA, everybody was in this room because it was nothing but sheriffs there. And they realized the need and the concern and where the gaps is in between and how we do need to be on the same page with this thing. So, y'all take time.
Sheriff, let me ask you a
They'll
question.
tell you. Yes, sir.
Cause I'm confused. Since I've been on this board, we have done, besides build a new jail, we have worked with you like no other board ever worked with you, other than building a new jail because we don't have no money. So that's why I'm kind of confused. I don't know nobody, I don't know no board of supervisors in the whole state of Mississippi work with their sheriff department like we work with y'all when we go to conferences and they're telling me all the stuff they be going through with the sheriff department. The only problem we have is a new jail. So I'm confused.
Well, that's why I told you don't take it like it's an attack, because it's not.
I didn't. I'm just
trying
to figure out
let me say
our counties, why they pick Adams County. We don't have a problem with our sheriff here. Only problem we have is with new jail, we ain't got no money.
And that's why they picked Adams County, because our jail is in such bad condition, it's needed more here than it is in Hines County. It's not.
They ain't got no money, how they gonna help us?
Well, you ain't gonna listen, how you gonna know them? That's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying being open-minded, people, when you come to the table with people, you can get really creative on how to do things. And it doesn't just need to be me hearing that. So it's not that me and you or me and the board has an issue. We all have a common issue in here, in this thing being in the condition it's in. And all of us have a responsibility to do what we need to do for that. So it's not, and that's why I wanted to start off by saying, I'm not trying to attack you all. I'm not trying to say any of that thing, but the reality is, just like Morgantown Road certainly needs to be addressed, over here needs to be addressed as well. And so I'm just trying to get like-minded brains together so that we can figure out a way to help. One of the things that me and Scott was talking about the other day was I talked to the prison about those pods that they have out here. Because one of the biggest issues we have in jail right now when it comes to people tearing stuff up is we don't have a segregation unit. Meaning we cannot administratively punish anybody because we don't have anywhere to lock them down. Period. Other places, if somebody go to tearing up stuff, you can lock them into segregation for 10, 15, 20, 30 days or whatever. And then that'll give them a chance to settle down and come back in or whatever you need to do. We don't have that option over here. It's never been that option over here. And it's even worse now when you have cells and different things that don't lock. And that's why I'm trying to say, if you got all these powers that be at the table saying that we'll come down here and talk to you all and everybody else who's going through the same issue that we are, why not talk to them and tell them, hey, maybe you all can revert some of that funding in a different way to really help us instead of having all these gobs and piles of money sitting over here that are not being utilized. But in order to do that, you know, these people told me in order to do that, they needed to see that our local leaders was on board first. So that's why I'm asking Adams County.
You could have told them that.
Well, I did tell them that. Okay. But what's wrong with hearing it from you though?
I ain't got no problem with hearing it from them, but as a board member and been on this board for 2 terms, we done supported you 100%.
And I'm not saying
So,
that, Rick.
I know, but you just said they want to see is we on board. You could have told them my board is on board.
And I did. But here's the thing. When you go to Washington and you send those people up there to lobby for you in Washington, how much stuff you get done when you don't show up to the table? Let's be real about it. Nothing. But when you all was going to Washington, meeting with these people, funding started coming down the pipeline. Am I wrong? Anybody?
I'd love to go do my own lobby.
But here's the thing. I'm not trying to see y'all anywhere. I'm just asking to be open-minded, to sit down and listen for a minute.
We ain't got a problem with that. I think everybody on this board.
We good?
We do.
And again, if I'm coming off as though I'm pointing the finger saying y'all not supporting the sheriff office, that is absolutely not what I'm saying. I've said it everywhere I went in this country that our board backs us. But I've also made it clear that even with the conditions in the jail, and I've said it to the paper and I'm gonna say it now, that I know you all want to do what needs to be done, you just don't have the funding. And so I'm trying to get the money to the table so we can revamp some things. When I go to Washington, they fly me up there on the 13th, the first thing that's gonna come out of my mouth is how they need to reallocate funding. But I don't think I have all the answers, and I think you all can bring some valuable information to the table to help that. So that's all I'm saying. Why not come to the table? It ain't no attack. And again, I hope everybody's hearing me. I know you all want to do the right thing. You just don't have the money. I'm trying to get money reallocated so we can do the right thing, if that makes sense.
So is that's what the training for, to
I never-
those ways on how we can come up with them, is that what the training, that's what I'm trying to ask.
That's a part of it, yes, Ms. King. That is definitely a part of it for sure. And that's why they bring in all the money people who have the allocations to the table as well. And it ain't just us though. They want 18 people in there from other counties. They made it real specific because whether we want to or not, the DOJ's eyes are on Mississippi, and it was highlighted because of Hinds County. But the reality is when they realize that there is not a set standard in place for jails in Hinds County, you can be at the table to help set those standards, or you can be on the receiving end of it. I want to help set them to where right now they're saying we want to come help. They are not trying to force to do anything. And that's one thing they made it clear. And again, I told them how much you all support, but the reality is you just don't have the money. That's the reality. And that's why I talked to you, Scott, and sent you the messages about the thing out there for a temporary fix. Did I not?
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, about a temporary fix to help deal with some of the things that are going on. And that's something temporary that I'm definitely gonna ask the board for the vote on. Can we, the prison told us they'll sell us those pods for a little bit of nothing. And what a little bit of nothing is $5. Did you hear that, President West? $5 a pod.
How much will it cost to move them?
I don't know. I'm gonna work on it though, but
And
that's,
where would we be putting them?
well, right now, the only place I got to put them is that,
In my parking spot back there, I can't get
that would be
in.
nice. No, I would like to put them in that courtyard that's over there at the sheriff office. Just get 4 of them, put in the courtyard, because you got to be able to lock people down. If you can't do that, you can't, it's,
And I had Robbie go out there and take a look at them too, and I was hoping to get with the sheriff, the warden, president, vice president, and we can take a look and see what they're talking about, you know.
How big are they, Rob?
The cell's 13 by 7, inside 2 bunks per cell, some of them 4 units, so it'd be 8 bunks in it, some of them are 2 units, some of them got breezeways where like bottom floors with walkways in them. Some of them have plumbing already in them, you know, the toilets, vanities, the 2 bunks, and they got a little table, you know, little stainless table with 2 seats, you know, like for 2.
We'll pick them up with a crane or a forklift?
Yeah, it's got
You
it,
have to have a
that's what I
crane.
told Scott, that would have to be, I would have that checked out real well, make sure the lifting irons were still in place and all, you know, have them checked good, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's really intriguing because your most expensive part of building a jail is the concrete that you have to do to build. And so, obviously, having built a bunch of prisons, Core Civic or CCA at the time, they developed a way to build jails at a more economic price. They would prefab these pods and then move them on site and do the rest of the improvements, and they have a prison. So, I mean, it looks like it might be a good opportunity to save a significant amount of money
President,
for doing jail.
that was my question when they was tearing up the jail and tearing the TVs down and everything, and I think I asked the question, do you put them on lockdown and stuff like that? And, that's what you said, that you didn't have anywhere to put them.
don't have anywhere to do it.
Yeah, cause that's a solution to some of these things, is put them, like you said, on lockdown for 30 days.
or however many days,
Yeah.
because it's administrative.
Days that- Yeah.
Yeah.
So where you said you could, where you said
I'm
you could put them?
talking the courtyard, that brick courtyard we have over there. I would like to build something right there on that courtyard to do with it. That brick courtyard.
Just.
I'm just asking.
Trying to purchase 2 of them?
No, I'd like to have, well, it just depends on which one. I'd like to have 4 to put right down that courtyard. And I kid you not, if you,
So how many do they have?
they got a ton.
Got enough to build a new prison.
They got enough to build a new prison out there. So really, if you got a contract in to really look and see can they use it, that would save millions on a jail. I think it would.
Courtyard in front of, you're not talking
I'm talking about the courtyard right next to the sheriff office. We don't have nowhere to go. Think about it. We trapped. We landlocked.
Is it all you know,
Put
to
'em
purchase
there?
2 of them to put over here temporarily?
Well, if he did get 4 or 5 over there, that's fine. It's fine.
I'd like to put 4 over there.
Yeah,
Is it all you
You
know?
gotta do the same amount of electrical work, same amount of plumbing to get everything going.
That's right
So
there.
it's just a temporary fix.
It's right beside.
Purchase a jail.
We don't need it. We need segregation.
Which means,
So that's not what you're saying.
it means it could be 5 or 6 years. They could be there 5 or 6 or 10 years, because if you decide to build a jail today,
Yeah,
it's
it's gonna take
5
that
or 6
long.
years away.
Yeah, I ain't worried about it being pretty. I'm just being honest. I don't care about it being pretty. We'll paint it whatever color the people want to paint it. But we need it in order to deal with those problem people. Because whether y'all realize it or not, a lot of sheriffs are not even taking other inmates in other facilities. You know, because it's an ongoing issue. It ain't just here. It's everywhere.
Are we taking more?
Huh?
Are we taking more?
We got 11 from the city right now. And we got 5 females from Vicksburg.
So, Sheriff, I'm not the sheriff, I'm just one board member. If that jail is in such bad shape like you say, I think we don't need to be taking them on inmates. We need to try to get rid of inmates.
If the board want to vote to do that today, I have no issue with that. Because the reality of it is, though, it ain't the people from out of town that's the problem. We haven't had a single problem from an individual out of town destroying anything. It's our locals that's the problem. It is not the people from out of town. But listen, I promise you, I don't have, if the board takes share, right now we want to stop taking people from outside agencies, I will do that. But you're making money off of that because they're not a problem. It's your locals that's the
Why
problem.
would we bring people into a facility that is bad as you say it is?
I
For money.
can tell you why, Ricky. Because other facilities are bad too. Right now in Hines County, you see what's going on. You go to Wilson County, you know what they got? They got a facility that was built in 1880 up there. And that sheriff is in the process of doing it. You go over here, don't even go around Franklin County, some of these other places. I mean, the reason why sheriffs move people around is for security reasons. Like, it's some people that I can't put in jail right now. And so I have to send them somewhere else because if they are in this jail, there's a serious chance of them being harmed because of their affiliations out on the street. So what the facility meets the standards or not,
Yeah, but
you try to put them in.
You saying whether it meets the standards or not, you gotta realize though, you putting a liability on us by continuing to bring people in a jail that's not fit to be in.
It's a liability on us for having people in there anyway who ain't from here. Either way it go, the liability is there, whether they from Natchez or Jackson. The liability is still the same because your locals are being
out
out. Again though, what about the Natchez folks? Cause the liability don't change.
We wanna get them out of here too.
But you can't not have anybody. Because Jefferson County is full. I mean, let's just be honest.
I think what we need to do is find somewhere to put all our inmates and close their jail down till we can do better. That's what we need to do. We need to find somewhere.
That sounds so tempting.
And close the jail down.
That sounds so tempting. But the reality is, when I called Jefferson County and I sent Supervisor Mills and Attorney Scott Slow with the messages, he's not wanting them up there. When I went to other places, the only place that'll really take somebody from us right now is Rankin County. And that's because they just built a new facility with a heck of a segregation unit where they can actually deal with people at.
Will they take all of that?
No, they won't take them all. They barely take 4. And it's because right now, the way they're paying for their facility is, they went ahead and decided to build a new facility with all this stuff in it where they can really deal with people the way they need to be dealt with. And they're housing other people's inmates in order to pay for it. What they're doing is just what Cat Bryant came here and told us to do. She told you charge $40 or whatever your price is and let other people pay for your facility. And it made a lot of sense, and that's what he's doing up there. His supervisors went for it, and they did it, and he has everything. I went up there and looked at it. He has everything in place, and the board ain't even paying for it because he's staying stocked out right now with people waiting to send people to his facility. They're waiting because ain't many sheriffs over here who will take anybody else. None. And the regionals are loaded. And right now, MDLC has a lock on them, and that's who has a lock on the regional. Right now, Jefferson County is full of MDLC folks. So they don't have room for any other people to go there. I'm just being honest with you. That's how Rankin County is paying for their facility though. He built an extra 150 just to house other people's inmates. And right now, all he had space for us was 4.
Regardless of the fact, we're still 5 to 6 years out from
Right.
anything.
From anything.
And this is not a jab at you, but this is every 2 weeks. What are we gonna do? What's the problem with jail?
Right.
We gotta find a temporary fix. We gotta find something to do in the lag time between finding out whether or not we're gonna build a jail, contract it out. I've said it for a long time, I think we need to try our dangest to reach over to Concordia Parish to see if we can get access to carry those inmates across state lines. Okay. Feasibly, it's the only one that makes sense.
Hey.
Geographically, it's the only one that makes sense.
The only problem is, that may or may not be a problem, is the Constitution and extradition. We have to get that.
That's a big problem. When you sending people across the river, but that's why I asked you to look at it with the AG. And I don't have a problem sending them to Concordia. I promise you I don't. If y'all entered the jail today, I wouldn't cry.
In a perfect
I promise you I
world, I'd
wouldn't.
like to see a new administrative building. And maybe take a pod or 2 to house when you need them. Contract everybody else out.
I'm asking for the pods. That's what I'm asking for today. I'm asking for the pods so we can do what we need to do. But if we can, when you talk about extradition and people having to sign waivers when you take them across state lines to come back, that's a whole nother ballgame. You cannot force somebody to sign a waiver to go or to come back.
And there's
Or to come back.
there's a good argument that it's not actually extradition worthy because they're not actually fugitives, they're being housed. But again, you need to order stating that.
Okay, let me ask this question too. You know, we talking about sending them across the river, sending them to Rankin County, whatever. Then the problem we're gonna have, the next problem we're gonna have too is parents traveling, saying they travel to see their kids. That's the
Let me tell you what your real problem gonna be, and I just learned it this week too.
Excuse me, and also transportation, transporting them backwards and forwards. You're gonna have that problem. The cost, you think is the cost gonna be even more higher to do all these things than leaving them in our prison, in our jail? You know, the cost can get more expensive.
If you put them in Hines County, there's gonna be a material change in travel, whether that's offset by your cost of building a jail. I don't know. If it's in Concordia Parish, your travel's not, I mean, it's within the same community, so to speak. So,
Here's where your real issue gonna be for you at. Regardless of whether they house here or anywhere else, if they are in the custody of the Adams County Sheriff's Office, guess who's still liable regardless of whether they're here in Egypt? We are.
Still liable.
We are. Guess who's liable when you're going up and down that road? Guess who's liable every time we have to walk somebody over to justice court? So I don't want y'all to just be thinking this bill. If they are, whether we have a jail or not, if we send somebody else to another facility, you are still liable, regardless.
So the city of Natchez is liable for their
Yes,
inmates
they
that
are.
are in our custody?
Yeah, absolutely. They are liable, the city of Natchez are liable for their inmates that are in our custody. And I'm telling you, I just went through all this stuff with the top people from the DOJ.
Who's tearing up the jail? Our inmates or the city's inmates?
if the city's felonies get transferred over to the county almost.
Yeah, that ain't gonna change. And what the city does is they regardless, with the city, regardless, they inmates gonna come our way as soon as they get bound over. And so they'll just push and make sure they get bound over quicker so they're our responsibility quicker.
Which is a problem because then you clog up your felony section.
Right.
You have a legit non-felony that's charged
There you go.
initially as a felony. Instead of getting it reduced to a misdemeanor as it
There
should
you go.
be, it immediately gets bound over and then they're in our jail another,
And
9 months.
And that's what's happening a lot right there.
Let me ask you a question. How many inmates you have over there now?
Right now, we got about 108, and we're rated for 88. We're rated for 88, and we have about 108. And the extras are, like I say, city people, so.
So if we are rated, we are only allowed to have so many, so when another county called and asked you to take an inmate, why do we take them?
We're not taking them right now. We maxed
So
out.
how did we get to 108 if we had 88?
Because the additional that came in was the city. We just got 11 from the city the other day. We got 11 from the city, like, just 2 days ago, 11. So that changes your numbers, you know what I mean? The numbers gonna fluctuate every day. Cause the city,
It's gonna fluctuate and some gonna leave. So if you get 11 inmates from the city and we don't take anybody else, those inmates from the other counties gonna eventually leave. So we are still rolling in inmates and we're at a cutoff.
we hadn't taken an inmate from another county in months. The ones that have been here long term, they have.
Okay, and let me ask you, why they here long term? Because, and there's so many days they can stay in jail, or a year that they can stay in jail, why the long term
We
ones?
got people that's been in this jail for 3 years, and they from right here in Natchez.
Why is that? Are they supposed to go, is they supposed to go certain other places after years been handed down to them?
No, they not gonna go anywhere until the judge make a decision on, they go to trial, and I get free to be convicted. I've even tried to get other people out of jail right now. If the judge don't want it to happen, guess what? It ain't gonna happen. If the judge say, yeah, I hear you, Sheriff, this one needs to be blah, 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 whatever the case is, and if the judge decide they're gonna sit there, they're gonna sit there. Ain't nothing I can do, it's court order. Am I wrong, Scott?
Cause I know some of them just probably
No.
misdemeanor cases that probably can be,
Your misdemeanors really aren't they're not much of your sentences. I would guess less than 10% of your,
Yeah, we got
misdemeanor.
Yeah.
some serious guys.
Pre-trial is your significant population. And even, I would say 80%, 85% are probably pre-trial have been down to, and at that point, the county's responsible.
Man, we can go on and on,
Yeah.
man. We
So
can
we
get
just
in
got
this
solution.
in a short time, we ain't gonna get out of it in a short time.
Yeah.
Just gotta come up with
We
a
got,
plan.
we just got to say what we're gonna get the pods.
So y'all okay with getting the pods?
We gotta make a motion now, we just gotta go look and study this more, make a decision.
Okay, do they give a cost on those pods?
I would like to give the board to give Scott permission to move forward on seeing if it's possible for us to contract with Concordia Parish in the meantime.
I think there's a motion on it. Wasn't there a motion out there about the pods? Yeah.
Nobody made a motion. Huh?
Was a motion out there.
I think we should take a look at the pods and look at extradition and make the decision that's, best for the county.
Either way it goes, we're probably gonna need a bond anyway.
Correct.
Right, and his request was that a couple of us go out there and look at Bob.
I was asking the president, vice president to meet the sheriff and the warden out there to go take a
Well, they
look.
gonna catch, man, they gonna catch with the bond. If the sheriff okay with it, what I gotta look at it for? I mean, he did.
Sheriff.
What I'm
Well, as much as I
looking
like the sheriff, he's not an
He's
expert
telling
in construction and so forth. And,
And
which
we
are
are
responsible for the bottom line of the taxpayers'
at,
dollars.
sometimes you gotta take the words of your department head, and he wouldn't look
Like I
at
said, I looked at them, but I get somebody to inspect the lifting eyes and all, make sure they're still.
We know the cost of moving
They've
them.
been sitting there for, what, 10 years, longer than that, they're on the bridge.
2008.
How long?
2008-ish.
That's right, so, I get somebody to inspect that part, make sure, and then see what it costs to transport them, to move them, and then see what it's gonna take to force slab, get your plumbing rough in to do it, so you gotta.
Yeah, you got other
Because
stuff.
we don't
gotta
have the
have that for it.
expertise, so you gotta get
The
somebody.
electric, I would do the
that-
$5 pods, it sounds cheap now, $5 pods, but then when you got $500,000 or $1 million tied up in moving 6 pods,
That's what you wanna figure out.
that's what I'm saying.
So that's what.
And once you buy
them,
You gotta move them. I mean, that's the reality.
Correct. So
Well, that's,
I would do a little more study before I
Yeah.
bought a pod.
that's,
I would, make sure.
But it doesn't have to take a long time. I mean, we can.
Go ahead, do what you gotta do, Rob. I just threw it out there, so do
But we
it.
can have something, I think, an estimate in place and hopefully for the board to see it within the next meeting, or at least by the June meeting,
So Robert's gonna do that, right?
Well, I just give a view, see what you want, and then, we'll look up and then get somebody to give us an estimate on your plumbing and what it takes to pour a slab, because they don't even have bottoms in them. I mean,
Right,
they're all
they don't.
stackable, or, the roofs of the floors of the other ones, or the bottom pods that do have canopies like walkways and things
Yeah, you
like
had
that,
to do
that
that,
would be
yeah.
the ones you would want, because you ain't gonna stack them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stack
But
it.
just go from there, and maybe get somebody to inspect the.
We just need some
the
temporary
lines
relief.
and things like that. Talk to RW Lane, see what they, they move stuff, like what they capable of, with their cranes.
So they got a motion on the floor with that?
no, we don't need a motion for that.
So let me ask y'all this, do you want me to let the city know that we can stop taking the inmates? Cause I notify them today.
Yeah, don't need no more.
Y'all gonna vote on that? I want
Then
y'all to
where
vote
the
on
inmates
it.
gonna go?
Well, you need.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say the city, I would
I think we
say
have to
probably
give
the
them
whole
a-
county.
We have to give them a heads
The
up
other
on that.
counties.
Yeah, I don't think we stop the city.
I would say the city, I would say the other counties.
Outsiders. No.
Man, we've been
But
working together, at least give them a heads up before we vote on it.
Yeah, that's already our agreement with the city, we just don't need to break that agreement with the city.
How'd
Outsiders
they,
are outsiders.
how'd they come up with 14 inmates over the weekend? Is that part of that festival deal?
Yep.
What a circus, I mean, pardon the pun,
Come on, man.
Alright. Do we have any update on the vehicles other than what I'm about to tell y'all?
No, we have the purchasing clerk out here to discuss, if you need to discuss.
If she can come in
She's
here,
here, is, Shaki still in there?
if she not, I just want y'all to know that I just got notified by Enterprise that state contract pricing has closed. And so it's done for the year, so if we get a vehicle at this point, the price did just change.
Okay.
Tell her, you come in.
Come in.
Hey, Jackie.
Oh, okay.
Hey. I'm I'm not trying to put her on the spot, and I already told her, I already told her that. I'm not trying to put her on the spot, and I made it real clear to her, this been going on, didn't I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, but while you were out though, I just got a text saying that state pricing for the vehicles has expired, and so I don't know where we're at with.
Your issue with Enterprise, last time we did it, we had to do an advertisement because it's not a purchase from Enterprise, you were straight up leasing. And your state contract price isn't for a lease, it's for a purchase. And you can do a lease purchase, which is what we proposed to Enterprise. If they would have given us a purchase at the end of the lease, then we could have gone forward under the law. But since they didn't, the only way to do it is through bid. And that's what state audit told purchasing.
Right. So where are we at on that then? That's all I want to know.
So now we gotta put it up for advertisement or find the vehicles that are on the state contract price for purchasing, not for leasing.
Which
Cars are a shortage everywhere.
from what I gathered, we had two quotes, and that was Enterprise, which they provided multiple quotes, but it was for each individual vehicle, and we also got the quote from Kurt's Auto World, which was the state contract. The price was $31,058, and from my understanding and what I relayed to Scott and talking to Mr. Robbie, and also I talked to a gentleman named
Amelia.
I talked to Robert. And talking to TJ, one of the gentlemen that I was supposed to talk to Rosie, but I guess she transferred it to someone else. And he called me Friday and he told me that I could have a meeting with him and discuss, and so they could break down everything. But one of the specific questions I did ask him was if there was an opportunity to purchase at the end of the lease agreement, because that's what me and Scott had discussed. And he told me no. He did tell me no. I tried to get in contact with you, but you were out of the office.
And that's the issue we ran into last time. That's why we had to put it out.
He said no.
He said they would. We would have equity in the vehicle, and once they sold it after the 48 months, that we would receive the equity off of the vehicle if they sold the vehicle. But he did tell me if I had any more questions or if I needed to meet with him, and because I did tell him I wanted to talk to him more extensively, because it was just a quick conversation that we could. But I know one of the specific questions I asked him, did we have the opportunity to buy? And he did say no.
And that's with Enterprise.
That's with Enterprise.
Okay.
So let me ask you.
Why couldn't we buy from the auto world?
But that's the thing, and that's also something that came up because in the conversation with Mr. Moore, and I put that in that email that I sent out, that he did state that that's where Enterprise was purchasing the vehicles from, Kurt's Auto World.
So we should go straight to the
Did they just not sell to us?
I haven't reached out to Kurt's Auto World, but I will reach out to find out, and give you all the update. Yeah, I will.
Auto World, instead of going through Enterprise, if they get them Auto World themselves.
Can you just?
Please.
So we can get them all immediately.
Yeah.
I asked her not to leave, please, because there's some other stuff on me. So we need somebody to answer. That's fine on that. I'll
So
make
can we
sure.
get some prices from Kurt Auto?
We did have a quote.
For the fittings and.
Well, that was,
Yeah,
I
we have
think
the
the
finance.
price we had for Kurt's Auto World was strictly the state contract price, which was the price of the vehicles. It wasn't with upfitting or anything like
Yeah,
that.
but see, we gonna have to add fittings.
Right.
I got both fit quotes right here, but I'll get with y'all, Ms. Martin,
Okay,
after this. I'll get with her after this on
Okay.
this. I want to move on from the vehicles now. But I'll definitely get with you after this. Me and you. Yeah. Here's some other things that's outstanding. PO number 210623. Invoice number 20015, $32,168.17. This is invoice that's past due from Southern Connections from back in January the 5th, 2021. This was the upfit from the vehicles from last year. Remember that the county had financed them separate, so I'm asking, can we go ahead and get this bill please paid?
I don't see why.
Yes, it's not been done.
Yeah.
Again.
to me, we need to get in contact with purchasing along with, accounts payable who does the bills to find out, this is what I have started, have I not? I have gone from department to department, and I'm looking at anything that's POs is outstanding. I haven't got to you because you're at the bottom. And I'm looking at them and I'm sending emails out to the department heads to Shaki, as well as accounts payable to find out if, because sometimes we have POs that's sitting out there in encumbrance that's already been paid, somebody paid it by mistake without pulling the PO over and closing it out. We have been working on that from starting the Department 100 going forward. We hadn't gotten to 200 yet, but if it's a PO sitting out there, you know, to me, it's not anything that has to come to the board, contact the
Until it's docketed.
purchases, and where they hadn't got paid,
Yeah.
purchasing and accounts payable would be the one that you question why hasn't the bill been paid.
Which he
Not
did.
here because we didn't get a chance to review it. If you have spoken with them, I'm not sure, because if I get an email, because sometimes Joe has sent an email, this hasn't been paid. When she sends it and I get the email, I'm going forward with it. Why hasn't this been paid? I'm gonna pull it myself to look at it myself, and then I'm gonna say Janae or whoever that has to sign off on the invoice. Sometimes she don't get the invoice, the PO sitting out there, no invoice, no receiving, no anything, she can't pay. So it's just like a step-to-step, a daily, routine, day-to-day operation that needs to be taken care of in that matter. Or if we got some invoices out there, you can get Janae, Jonette to email me, and I'll make sure the invoices get paid if they are approved. That's the way.
And that's for any invoices.
Right.
They gotta go to Angie's now, the comptroller, county administrator, and it's gotta be docketed to be paid. We can't, the board can't pay it without a
I
docket.
know, and I understand that completely, and that's why I'm asking though, because we have several emails where we've sent and they haven't been paid. And so the reason why I'm bringing it up at the board meeting is so everybody's aware before they go to this next step. And the next PO number is 210624, which is the rest of the upfitting. It was, and I know you know. And I wanna say you've been doing great since you got dropped in this position. And I wanna make that real clear, this is no way an attack on Jackie Martin. She has done an outstanding job, and I'm glad to have you here with the Adams County Board of Supervisors doing what you're doing. I wanna make that real clear. But if we can do that, that's fine. Mr. Supervisor Gaines, one of the things that you keep asking about, Project NOLA. We learned that invoice still ain't been paid. So I don't want all them extra phone calls saying why. That's why I want to make it bring it to everybody at one time. Just like Supervisor Gray say, 2 or 3 people don't make decisions. That's why I'm bringing it to everybody. So Project NOLA, if you wonder, they won't take money up front
Before they start.
before they start the project.
But just to get those emails, it's been approved,
Just send an email out to me, and I'll be glad to find out why it ain't gotten paid.
Right, yeah.
Because I know I signed off on that invoice.
Well, it's-
Paid.
Yeah, but it just hasn't been paid.
It hasn't been paid, so it's not,
And this is
it's
not
not a
an
purchasing
attack on
thing at all.
We got a new
So who's
purchasing
gonna
clerk.
pay it?
We got a new purchasing clerk, and we're gonna start off on the right foot. We're purchasing's deciding purchasing and communicating with vendors, and that's what really needs to be,
What?
how it needs to happen.
He did mention to me, excuse me.
Go ahead.
He did mention to me about the POs that he had in us sitting here at the beginning of the meeting. I told him to forward me the information and I would look into getting those, paid for. And he said that they had been previously approved to be paid. So that's no problem. And I know with the Project NOLA, we had the sole source, that sole source letter was approved to move forward, but I hadn't got any other paperwork. If it was paperwork submitted as far as an invoice or anything like that, I haven't seen it.
You probably wouldn't see it because it wouldn't come to you.
Okay.
It'll go through accounts payable.
Okay,
Not
okay.
gonna be copies, and now she's complete the file.
And let me be clear where I'm up here talking. This is not an attack on purchasing. I just want to be on the same page with people trying to get stuff taken care of. Because these folks calling us every day, and that's a lot of money online.
But they need to be directed to purchasing,
We are directing them there, but it's.
and then the vendor also needs to be directed to bookkeeping, for those who pays the dollar. Y'all have important things to do.
I agree, Scott, but the reality of it is when you bounce people around to that many people, it is a problem because things fall through the crack, to be honest with you. And that's part of it. That's part of you send this in here and it ain't my job, and go here and here and all that. So that's why I'm bringing it here though, so it don't be nipped in the bud. Also, that thing that we talked about the other day about the city with that grant. I met with the police chief yesterday, and apparently they got 5 cameras on that grant to be assigned to the county and to be assigned to Vidalia. So I just wanted, that's a grant that came under Armstrong. When he was back here, we helped him on a grant getting data. And apparently he put us in for 5 cameras, and the police chief showed that to me in writing on yesterday. So that's 5 cameras that's gonna be on the grant for the city and the county, and I guess the Miss Lucas Bidet is included in that as well. Let's see here.
Did you work out the logistics of the administration of the grant?
He gave me a lady's name. He gave me a lady's name that it ain't James Johnson that's working on the grant.
Right, I know James, he's not doing it.
He did tell me the lady's name who moved forward on it. Addie Thompson, I believe. Could be wrong on that. Had to get with him, but I think that's what he did bring in a new grant administrator, and that's where the confusion came in. I'll be with you. The other thing I wanted to bring up was this. Ms. King, this is for you too.
Okay.
You know, we talked about so many years about everybody going in on buying all this bulk stuff. Well, it was brought to my attention that we were asked to take some money out of our budget to pay for it, and I just want the board to know we have yet to receive anything from that bulk that the county keeps getting. And we have continuously, I got PO numbers here where we've had to buy pretty much our product. So I don't know what we can do to rectify that, but
Purchasing.
we're gonna spend some time together. I did what purchasing did. I was there with purchasing, but what I'm saying is they asking for money to come out the sheriff's budget for stuff that we don't have. And I don't think that needs to happen.
My understanding that you just finished that.
No, I'm not saying she didn't order it.
Right.
I'm saying we don't get it done.
Process.
Yeah.
That was something that was handed to me. And going through it, there were some hiccups. I did have to send some requisitions back to departments because they wanted to edit it because they didn't want to, once they saw the pricing and signing the requisitions, they were like, okay, that's too much money. So because a lot of the stuff the quantity of it was like bulk order. And some of it was broken down into cases and things like that. So they weren't aware of that in the spreadsheets originally being sent out. So that was the holdup on actually processing everything to get it out to the vendors so that they could process the orders. But as of yesterday, I have sent out all notification to vendors as far as the big orders are concerned. So I told them to let me know, give me a tentative date as far as when the stuff would be received, and I would send that out to the appropriate departments.
Yeah, great job. Love that. Again, nothing to do with that. It's the fact that I know Don's ordered, but we're not getting any of that, so we're having to continuously order. So I didn't want our budget dollar for something that we're not getting. That's all I'm saying.
It's still gonna go to your budget.
Even though we're not using it, or even though we're not getting it.
It's the product that you're going to receive is still going to your budget.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Well,
So it's like she can order, but it's still gonna get coded to the sheriff's department budget.
So we need to start asking for the product then.
Right.
Got it.
Okay, so
Done deal.
I'm looking at Southern Connection and I see something sitting out here for like 40-some thousand.
Is it about 41?
41,000.
Yeah, that's the two things I just named. It's two different
Okay, so
POs.
it's in the process.
Thank you.
Okay. What's the other one?
It was the
Project
same.
NOLA.
Project NOLA, yes. But I'm gonna keep going while you're looking though.
Go
Okay?
ahead.
All right. I do want you to know that you all brought up at the last meeting, from my understanding, that several cars needed to come off the insurance. I wanted the board to know that we've sold 3 of them and we took 10 of them off the insurance.
Good.
But we're short 4 vehicles now. We got 4 officers who don't have vehicles now. And that's why we was really pushing on this thing with Enterprise, because we cannot go without having a spare vehicle, because we have too many things that happen with this many people for not to have spare vehicles. So our goal is to at least to keep 2 spare vehicles. So we pulling whatever we can together.
So she working on you some vehicles.
I'm okay with her. Listen, I'm okay with her. See, I'm loving the way she handles business. It made me smile.
Let me get you right here. I'm looking at Project NOLA.
Okay.
The date is 5/16/22, so it may be on
Today,
docket for 19,000. Is that project low?
that's project, there's your update, Supervisor Gang.
All right.
There's your
So we
update.
all straight.
So we good.
Outstanding bill.
Alright, good deal. Let's see here. I also wanna talk to you all for a second about Juneteenth, so you all don't be on the back burner. I wanna dispel a couple rumors, about the group that's coming here. I met with the mayor, the chief, a couple of all the women. This was not a meeting that I planned, let me be clear on that, okay? This was not a meeting that I planned. I actually got the invite like that morning when it happened. And so I went over to the police department. I met with those officials that I told you about, and the guy who's coming here. First thing I want to say is that they didn't come here on their own. They were called here by a particular individual in this community in reference to the Devil's Punch Bowl. But after talking to the guy and listening to him and hearing him out and just filling him out, the intentions that they're coming with are not negative. The only thing that's being viewed negative is the fact that they don't bring their guns with them like everybody else in America do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I see on here where it say they're gonna be at Bravo Park.
That should be talking to us.
So you was at the table, all the city officials was at the table. Was anyone of y'all at the table? So the key thing I'm trying to make up, Sheriff, are your people gonna be out there at the park?
Let me tell you about the park situation.
I'm just answering the question.
We're gonna be everywhere, because I've instructed my whole entire staff to be on duty that weekend.
So that means we gotta pay overtime.
But let me tell you.
Wait, I got another question, 'cause I forget real quick.
Okay. Am I gonna be at the park personally? No, I'm not.
I don't know if those individuals coming here know they may can have guns anywhere, but they can't have them at our park.
And I was gonna get to
No guns
that.
at the park. That's.
I don't have a problem with that, Supervisor Gray, but here's the thing. They didn't come through, first of all, I'm gonna say it again. That meeting wasn't constructed by me, and I didn't know anything about it until I got a text that morning, prior to that meeting. I got a text that morning, and I was in another meeting, and I got up and walked out of that meeting because I thought it was extremely important, whether y'all or whoever was there or not. I'm pretty Sheriff Patton would make me there to me. And so I made my way over to that meeting and left the one I was in because I felt like I needed to be at that table. Now, I didn't.
I ain't saying nothing about who was at we wasn't at the meeting. But
I agree.
you talking to the individual that's coming here, you had some conversation with him?
I did. And
okay, did you let him know he can't have them guns in our park?
He knows that.
Oh, okay.
But here's what I need from the board though, so it doesn't look like just a police attack. I would like some kind of notification from you all too, as well, saying that, because I.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Durant.
And I will.
That no guns,
Yeah, no
no
guns
firearms.
at our park.
And that's not a problem.
I mean, that's posted, that should be posted.
Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. You just gotta be careful.
Legislature has passed some sort of gun rights law,
There
or
you go.
which ones, whether we can limit guns in our parks or not. Okay?
So wait a minute, go, you keep doing what you doing, but I'm gonna tell this board and the rest of these people out here this. Now, they coming here in peace, ain't got no problem with that. But you going to one of our parks, and our kids gonna be out there seeing all these people with these guns. So when they leave, then our kids come out to the park with the guns, what's gonna happen then?
Listen, again, if the board chose not to even open the park, we enforce whatever the board want to enforce. Because
We can't do that, we can't do
We
that.
ain't trying to prevent nobody from coming to the park, but the message that you sending in a neighborhood like Bravo, with all these kids out there, with some of the problems that we done had in the past, we telling the kids, that it's okay for you to bring your guns to the park.
Listen, what I'm not finna sit here and do is I'm not finna sit
So we
here.
ain't talking to you, we ain't
No.
talking, fussing at you or nothing, but we just,
I know, but I wanna make it clear that I'm not finna sit here and defend everything. I just wanted to make you all aware of their intentions. Cause whether we like guns or not, we in an open carry state. Cancer doctrine is in full effect here in Mississippi and love they weapons.
Yeah, but we got our rules and
But you
our.
have your rules, and that's why I'm glad, that's why I'm bringing it to the board now, to make the board aware of it, because when that part got rented out or booked or whatever, nobody apparently wasn't at the table then either,
No.
because I didn't even know about it.
But he
You
goes
see
to
what I'm
catch,
saying?
he goes to catch. People rent our parks and we don't know what they rent them for. But when you rent a park with those many people and somebody say that they're gonna have guns,
Right.
then that should have been brought to the board.
I agree with
I ain't
you.
talking about you, I'm talking about whoever rented it.
And I'll make sure you get the name of the individual who did it if you already don't know, because not only do they have a park for that day, the day before that, and this was brought up in the meeting, they also have Broadmoor Community
So we
Center.
ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay, well, I
That ain't a county facility. I'm
Yeah.
concerned with the county park, with, I know my kids in this community, and you know these kids in this community. They don't do half the time what we say, they do what they see. So when they see these people coming here with all these guns, they gonna think, well, it's okay for us to carry guns to the park.
As long as the board gonna give me something.
Now, I'm voting no, I don't care what the legislature say.
As long as the board gonna give me some of the issues.
I think we had already put in place, and maybe in our policy, I don't know, but we already put in place, we had no firearms at, government, at county government, properties, and that included all these building, courthouse.
You can't do that with that law.
Can't do that.
No.
It's okay to have
Yeah, you can.
It's open carry, that's what I'm telling you.
Carry shit, you
But
cannot.
even if we are liable for stuff like that,
You cannot break the law.
That's what I'm getting at right
Yeah,
there.
you cannot break the law, you can't.
It's open carry now, you gotta remember that now.
To overcome the,
firearms in county buildings. And it's.
Who called that
posted,
meeting, Sheriff?
And it's posted, no firearms.
that's why I didn't.
I'll make sure you know, I'll let you know.
It's just not good for a county park to be involved in something, and the county's not included. So,
I found out at the table.
I understand, I'm not,
I
it's not
literally
you.
found out at
No,
the
that
table.
ain't his fault.
I know it's not
Yeah,
you.
we ain't,
That's not.
that ain't meant for you.
I got
That's a county park.
you. And, whenever Attorney Slow will get back to me, I'll do whatever the board asks me to do on that. But that's why I'm bringing it to the table, because I know if I got that notice like that, I know you all did it. And that's why I'm here telling y'all about it. But I will say again, what they're trying to teach and show, I'm not condoning anything. Let me be clear on that. I said it in the paper the other day that I don't care what group it is that comes here with guns. I don't like it. I made that real clear. I don't care who it is. And the reason why I'm not sitting here naming groups is because I don't want to give any groups no recognition or offend them. Either way, but period, you come in peace. But anyway.
We had signs at one time at those parks, no firearms allowed.
That's what I just said, no firearms at the park.
I don't think I see any signs up.
I think it's one out Lorraine, I think it's one out there say no
I
firearms.
thought it was the
Yeah,
rest, but I
yeah,
think,
it
I
is.
was going to the board.
But as long as you got.
Well, the law says different though, and that's why I'm saying I don't want you violating anybody's constitutional right. And I'm not going to. So. Alright.
I love it. You have to be single, so you do it up front.
Alright, yeah, that's what I'm telling you now. Be careful with that, cause it's a serious amendment. Second Amendment is serious.
I use the federal government. Second Amendment, right?
It's used, but it's used.
Alright, the last two things I have, and I'm out of here.
Motion died for lack of second.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Cause, we talking about, Second Amendment and all these amendments and, do that go for everywhere? Cause when I was in New York, they told me you cannot carry a gun. So we got all the other states in New York, it's different from everywhere else?
That's exactly right. When it comes to the Second Amendment, it's
It's
not
true.
incorporated into your rights like the First Amendment and several of your other amendments. The Second Amendment, the right of the police power of the states preempt that of the Second Amendment for the federal laws. This is a second amendment, not necessarily a second amendment for the federal law, it's the Mississippi statute, number one, and number two, it's the Mississippi Constitution's right to carry. That's what's prohibiting us. But a state can, under their police powers, limit the sale, carry of guns. So,
And see, these
under,
guys,
again, the federal government is limited in what they can do, and it's not absolute though, it's curtailed by certain things. But the states have more power under their traditional police powers.
and these guys, these ladies and gentlemen who are coming, they have all kinds of concealed weapons permits and all kinds of enhancements. It's a lot.
I got all that too, when I go to New York, don't none of that work.
I'm not in disagreement, but we in Mississippi, so that's what I'm saying. We in Mississippi, and realistically, it is what it is, man.
I mean, it's a doctrine that makes very little sense, Ricky, I agree with you. I don't understand why, out of the 10 amendments, one of them doesn't apply to protect people from state interaction, while the other 9 do, but that's how they found it.
So help educate me on this. In the state of Mississippi, if you have no weapons in your place of business and it's on your county park, then that don't mean nothing, because what they passed in the legislature give them the authority to carry a gun anywhere they want to carry a gun.
So
that's what I'm hearing.
No. If you are a private individual, you can ban, like if you come to my house, I can say, Ricky, take your gun off. And you say, okay, take it off. But we as the county are limited by what the state gives us power and authority to do. And what the state says, the counties cannot prohibit people from entering under certain circumstances. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. We might be able to limit 4 parks. That might be something where we can say you can't come in. I'm trying to pull the statute right now and see. So, the state legislature has told counties and cities that they can't do certain things when it comes to gun rights. We can't pass ordinances about carrying.
I ain't trying to stop nobody from carrying their guns, man, but why would you wanna have guns out there with all these kids out?
For instance, the courthouse. We cannot prohibit people from coming into the guns with the courthouse. The judge can prohibit people from coming into the courtroom when court is in session. But that's, if they come in with a firearm, they can come in with a firearm. We still wanna know if they're carrying or not, because if you're coming with guns, they're.
You wanna be secured, so you make sure it's secure.
So we still can't turn them around.
And plus, if you're,
That's what he's saying.
concealing weapons, if you have concealed weapons, you know, you still have to have permits and things like that.
Yep.
But open carry, you don't need anyone can.
You don't need anybody, as long as you ain't a felon.
Hey, let us know when you finish, cause I love to be educated on what the law is, man.
Sure.
All right.
I'm gonna follow the law. I might not like it, but I'm gonna follow it.
And that's exactly right. I mean, I feel like counties should be able to decide if they own a piece of property like any other owner, the safety, of that facility, but I'm not in the legislature.
The last thing I have is this, and I'm gonna go on. Last 2 things I have is this. I appreciate you all approving us to go after that grant, because one of those grants that we're gonna go after is about dealing with the youth and stopping the violence and things of that nature. It'll pay for the personnel and the people that will be needed to come in here and help with the situation, to deal with stuff like this. So that's one thing. The other thing is I wanna make sure that I got this stuff in the minutes here. I'm gonna give y'all these, well, I'm gonna give it to Paige. And I'll give y'all a chance to read it or whatever you want to do, but this is the fire marshal report. It just came down yesterday in reference to the jail. So I know you always say you speak through your minutes. I want this to be in the minutes. Then I'm giving y'all a copy of this and the operational assessment for the jail. I'm done. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Chucky, you were great.
Any other departmental reports? You were great, thank you.
I kept my attitude.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Mr. Poole.
I just have a couple of 3 things.
versus 26 contract is completed at the 26 items as of Thursday, May the 5th. So they submit the payment for the final invoice of payment, to general construction in the amount of $12,125.74. And I will provide a staff report to submit this, to accompany this request.
Can you,
That's $12,135.74 also includes,
well, I said is that it? Got a motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
AT&T is requesting to permission to install our cable along Cemetery Road to provide services to residents in this area.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? Robbie, you got anything? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
And the last item I received a revised notice of award from NRCS as it relates to the Group 4 EWP project. I'm requesting board's approval to allow the board president to execute this new notice of award document. It's for the budget increase for those 4 projects.
How much was that?
For that group. The amount for that budget increase is $153,000.
So that's that was for
Just for that group,
16 sites.
yeah.
Is that just for group 4?
Is that just for Group 4?
That's just for Group 4, I didn't submit it for Group 4.
So
How many sites is in group 4, Mr. Forward?
There are 6 sites in Group 4, that's Preservation, Footman Road, Wisteria Lane, Liberty Road, South Parkside Road, and Lansdowne Park Road.
So is that the same pot of money that we were talking about earlier, or that's different?
And that's a different side.
I think that's the same pile of money.
He won't know. He won't know.
Yeah, but he submitted it only for 6
So
sites.
6 sites.
That's it, he submitted for those.
So we can't be going off the same money.
But JKS submitted that other.
So they got 150,000 too.
So he won't know. He won't know the answer.
Okay, yeah, that's the only email I got.
From the one he did?
I thought
He did 6 of them.
But where's the 16 number coming from?
Where is 16?
Cause that said 16. He
Yeah.
said
It didn't sound like $150,000.
No, it was 16 sites. It didn't sound like. Now, 150 for 6, that might sound right.
See, we done gave this man approval.
Well,
We don't do what he, is that part of his?
Yeah, we got,
no, he was Group 2.
he said group 2.
And Good Hope was Group 3.
So did they apply for more money?
Sir,
Mr. Ford, can you repeat that one more time, please?
Mr. Ford,
I submitted
Mr.
a
Ford,
budget increase. Yes, sir.
No, go ahead. Let him-
I submitted a budget increase in the amount of $153,000 for Group 4.
Group 4.
And I received notification from Mr. Patterson that all he was to, this notice of award signed by the board president. In that notice of award, the only increase that's included in that notice of award is the $153,000 that IMS submitted for Group 4.
at the end of the day, he's saying that Group 4, 6 sites got an additional $153,000.
Okay.
We just talked about money with the other guy from JKNS, and it's the same pot of money that he was talking about for 16 sites? 'Cause
Maybe.
it's still, it's $153,000.
yeah,
Both of them was 153?
some of the projects too, the way they're awarding, I know at least for groups 2 and 3 are separate agreements or the same agreements. I don't know if Group 4 is included in any of those projects. It might be, that's what I'm saying, I just,
He just said it was for 6 sites, Group 4 only.
okay.
So the other guy, is that a different pot of money or is it the same pot? That's what we asked.
I I was
It's
thinking,
additional
Gotta be
requests.
different,
that's a different, I thought he was saying for, group 2,
2 and 3.
2 and 3, right,
Yeah, Brant is talking about 2 and 3, and got an
Right.
additional funding source.
exactly.
And then George is talking about an increase for group 4.
That man said 16, so something got to be added
But
in
is
there.
there
That was 60.
additional?
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at, Mr. Ford, is this notice of grant and agreement award that came from the USDA. And on line item 15, it says project titles description, MS EWP 5285, 5289, and 5290, Adams County, 16 sites, stream bank stabilization through debris removal, grouted rock, riprap structures, and a timber wall.
Alright, so the reason I'm just saying 16 sites is because this is one big pot of money for all the sites that are included in whatever application this was. But the $153,000 that was submitted by us was only for the Group 4 project. And along with that, we also submitted a bill calculation for Group 4 only. So I'm not sure what happened with the previous, with the other engineer, with their project. The $153,000 that IMS submitted was just for Group 4. All the documentation that was submitted is only for Group 4.
Those MS EWP numbers that I stated, 5285, 5289, and 5290, are those in group 4?
5290 is Group 4.
5290?
Yes, 5290 is Group 4.
So I don't know, but I'm thinking that this $153,000 is supposed to be spread across 2, 3, and 4.
That's what it sounds like, because it's 16 sites.
5289 should be group 2 and 3, and 5290 should be group 4, is that correct?
5290 is group 4 is what he said.
But that ain't what Brent said when he was in here, he was just saying it for group 2 and 3. He did not mention group 4.
Well, we got 2 different engineers with the same kind of money, and you're trying to use it different ways, that's what it seems like. IMS submitted for 6 sites, and for somehow or another, the documentation is showing 16 sites. There's gotta be the same kind of money they're talking about.
I know that the amount that's shown on this increase is the amount that we submitted for Group 4 project. I'm not sure.
Okay, y'all submitted them individual for a price increase for those 6 sites in group 4.
Group 4 has how many sites?
6.
What's that?
There are 6 sites in Group 4.
You talking Brent?
Those numbers at 52, see if that's for group 2.
You can't get him on the phone?
That's 16. Group 2 and 3 combined is 9 sites. He has 6, that's
That's
16.
15.
Oh, that's for all of them.
That's 15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Hey, man.
9.
That's 16.
I'm gonna get $10,000 a piece.
Can't crank a bulldozer.
I ain't gonna get like 10,000 a piece, cause it ain't 160,000.
I think it's 2, 3, and 4 combined, but I don't know.
We gotta
We
figure
better
it
find
out, we're
out.
gonna make a motion on that.
You guys later.
You know,
You guys
Brent
later.
was,
If you back there, I can let her, and I can reach out to NRCS myself and get a better answer, and the guys to you guys is next working, or be email if you guys are that.
Or can we make a motion pending?
Got it.
they have to be 15, you got to 16 to 15 sites anyway.
We need 2 different increases though, so, you know, one's not
Ain't
gonna,
gonna cover.
right.
If he submitted for his increase and they submitted for another increase, One pound of money ain't gonna come with both of them.
So that right there.
That's what I think.
You can't get him on the phone.
It says 16.
Wait, that's him? While we're talking to Grant, I wanted to ask George a question. Mr. Ford, have you heard anything back from state aid about the striping on those other projects, on those other roads, like Liberty Road?
He told me this morning that she's on his desk, he'll get an office tomorrow to sign and move consider on.
He told him this morning he'll be in his office tomorrow to sign it and get it moving on.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's what I heard.
Who was waiting on? Scott? I mean,
Yeah.
Is that all in?
Mr. Ford, did you have anything else or was that it?
That's all I have.
All right, hold up. I think we're.
where you get your email from?
This, came from Meg. To me and Angie.
While we're waiting,
To me?
Angie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ricky, while we're waiting, there is a general prohibition against regulating the carrying of firearms, but there is certain exclusions to that, and one of those is for public parks. And I'll show you the, I thought so too, I didn't want us to do it
That's what I
until
thought.
we can confirm.
Because I know that my park, it has no firearms, and we talked about that before.
Yeah, I just wanna make
Years ago
sure
is why it was posted there.
before we act. I said I thought it was, I didn't wanna
Yeah.
do it without confirming.
Sheriff, don't you want to say something about?
Oh,
that
yeah, I
law?
just wanna say this, one of the things that I forgot to mention is to tell you all that these are not Black Panthers. I know everybody's under the impression because of the fist in the newspaper, that's a unity symbol, it's not necessarily a Black Panther symbol, but I've spoken to these guys, and they are a gun club, they are not Black Panther, they wanted that to be real clear, that there is a separation between the two for several legal reasons. So, and they really have their stuff intact on how they recognize their members when they show up, and how they recognize them, and how they deal with situations that outside agitators. You know, it's actually a lot of the stuff that we use in law enforcement that they use in their own standard operating procedures that they have in this group. So I just wanted y'all to be aware of that. Matter of fact, the guy that we met with, he's a pretty darn decorated war veteran. 2 tours in Iraq, Brown Service Medal for this. He got a long history of stuff, and I'm not trying to justify anything. Let me be clear. I just want y'all to make y'all aware of who we're dealing with when they come. And you know, that's pretty much what I want to tell y'all on that. The other thing I want to tell you is this, since I'm up here though, those LPRs on the bridge helped us big time today. Somebody had just stole a car or carjacked somebody over in Concordia. They came across the bridge. Major Frank Smith was able to pick them up on the cameras, and he was able to work cohesively with Concordia and Wilson County to get that vehicle stopped down in Wilson County. So LPRs paid out big time for that.
That's right.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, I wanna say something about the Southern Connection.
Okay.
I just want it clear. I don't like people to really be accused of something without their name kind of getting clear. I'm looking at Southern Connection for that 41,645 in the system. It was placed in the system on March the 4th of 22. So it probably was a technology glitch in our system that didn't print that check.
Check was?
See there, this is an AP thing you bring out,
Okay.
understand?
I got
You see what I'm saying?
I'm staying in my lane.
It happened on March the 4th. So I'm asking the board, let me ask the board this. Can we just pull this over and print this check and get this signed and go in the mail today?
We
Is it
can
on the
if it's,
She can print a docket as soon as she print the check.
You gotta have the docket and
You gotta
approve
have
the docket.
That's what I'm saying.
We can
Can
do
she
that?
print the check and y'all approve the docket?
It's been on the docket though.
Huh?
It's been on the docket, cause remember you called me, remember I came over and signed at that time?
It's not on the docket. It wouldn't,
Oh.
it wouldn't show up on the
Not on
docket.
this one.
if it was on the docket, then
It would've gotten paid.
She said it's not on the docket.
Right.
Don't print the docket, get it on up here, let it get it approved and don't get it all.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Just for your information, I'm passing the statute. The first one is the general prohibition, and then under that's all the exceptions.
So is the
And
board,
underline the one about the car.
so is the board gonna give me something official from you all? Or
That's it.
or y'all just want me to go by this?
What, go by what, on the
I was just asking for the board's support, but that's okay, I got it.
docket? Yeah.
You gonna make a motion?
I'm
Okay.
making a motion.
Yeah, that'll be in a minute.
That's what I'm doing.
The bad part of that is the same thing that always comes up, it's like if you ban guns in churches. Somebody comes to our church and tries to rob, there's like 18 people armed all the time, which is a good thing. You get in a park and you don't have a weapon, and somebody shows up outside the park, you are a sitting duck, you're dead.
Ain't security gonna be there?
No.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna be there?
Some security gotta be there because
Oh,
when you got,
hold up a minute.
got to be.
Now, I know I ain't hear this right. I thought you said y'all was gonna be all over the place.
I did.
Whatever the case may be.
I did say that, but I didn't say we're gonna be in the middle of the park. I did not say that.
So with all them people at a city, at a county park, the
have
sheriff
security.
department ain't gonna be there nowhere.
What we need to be there for?
No,
We need
yeah,
to-
somebody gotta be, anything over 100.
I
Our
said, let
contract
me,
has anything over 100 people, or that many people has to have security.
again, and we're gonna talk to him about that now that that's been brought to my attention. None of this was brought to my attention prior to the other day, and then that's why I brought it to y'all this morning to tell y'all this. So, cause I've never seen the contracts for the county parks or anything like that because it never comes to me.
That's responsibility of the
Him.
person.
It's the person who having it.
Right.
That number is what?
Yeah,
That
it's not
number
the
is what?
sheriff, it's the person, 100,
100 people or more, they
That's
require
right.
to have security.
that's right.
I've never seen the contract for the county. But I'd be more than happy to put him on notice and let him know all of this. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm catching it on tail end just like y'all getting it from me today.
It has to be security.
Did you make a motion?
I did.
What is your motion?
No guns in the park.
You heard the motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Hutchins, any discussion?
The only discussion I have is that you're advertising that people are going to be unarmed in a certain place, and anybody that doesn't like those people, they're free to do whatever they
My
want to.
thing is they don't
That's
have to
it.
have security.
Anytime you say unarmed, you can't be armed.
Let me tell y'all-
That's what theaters, what have you, that's where you have those kind of shootings.
Let me tell you what we will do though. We're gonna stay on the county roads on the outside of the park. We're not gonna be in there, but we will have people strategically throughout that entire area, if that makes sense. I don't wanna give away too much in the meeting, but I'm trying not.
Right.
Y'all understand where I'm coming from?
Right.
All county parks.
Some
Oh,
kind of parks, yeah. that's
but,
right.
here go my
Y'all follow me though?
thing. Here go my thing. I'm not saying y'all need to go out there for free. But if this county gonna pay overtime for y'all to be doing it, then y'all need to be in that area knowing that all them people gonna be out there and you getting paid to do it.
Let me say this. I got that part of it. There's certain things I'm not
Not
gonna
gonna say in
divulge.
public.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna divulge in this meeting. So.
All in favor? All opposed?
There you go. Hey,
The 4-1,
trust me, we're gonna be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
4-1.
Won't do it all.
No,
Are you nay?
too, yeah.
So you vote nay, to not have guns in our parks.
That they can't have guns. They vote nay, that they can't have guns.
My motion was that they can't have guns on county parks.
Right.
So now okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me say this. This is just not,
Go
this
ahead.
just.
So we have a rodeo, then everybody come out there with their guns.
No.
That's what we
no,
saying.
No,
I mean,
we
it's
had
no
that problem the other day.
That's a park.
That's a part.
You just voted no, that's a park.
And let me say is, we sit here voting on this again, which is already should be in the minutes
Right.
way back, where it's been said that no guns in county parks. So
Yeah, what's
why
that?
would we vote against what our policy says?
Got it. That's all. I'm gonna go with yay, so my motion gonna be.
Okay, so Supervisor Wilson is the only vote nay. Okay.
Next, public comment, what?
Well, we're still waiting.
Oh,
I mean, we can move on, move forward till they get an answer. We'll be
Do we have any public comment?
man,
I don't have any comments. I was just gonna introduce myself after. But if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Sure.
That's public comment, so.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Mickey Matthews. I'm with Piper Sandler, which is an investment banking firm, and I just wanted to introduce myself. Should the county need any needs in the future for capital improvements, those sorts of things, just wanted to make sure that you all were familiar with my firm and the services that we're able to provide.
Okay, and what firm you said it is?
It's Piper Sandler.
you got a comment?
I do.
No problem with that whole thing.
You can't.
You got one with it, like, don't have, there's no protection for anybody.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody knows that nobody's there, no protection. One person knows that. You got all these other things that you cannot defend themselves.
Yeah,
That's why,
So you're gonna have a
that's why,
violation. Yeah.
that's why we have a second.
What type of services do y'all offer?
So we generally serve in two capacities, either as underwriters, so actually
Hang on just a
underwriting
second.
bonds and for sale to the public market, or also serving as placement agent. So we have a designated desk that connects with banks throughout the country. So generally when counties are trying to raise capital, they would go through either of those means.
Thank you.
Of course.
You come to the table.
Yeah, Ricky. You up?
I ain't got that much today, but, Ms. Brandon,
Yes, sir.
just give me a list of everybody that contributed to the, elected official scholarship. And Mr. Slover, you know I'm coming at you today. Where are we with Southview problem that we have right there?
Connecting with the state, we've sent over the suggested price, and again, I'll have it, maybe on the 25th, I'll have something for you.
Thank you, I'm gonna tell you why, man, because, to my knowledge, a lot of that stuff being pushed in the byline. So whoever pushing it in there, go ahead and go in there and get it out of there.
Okay. So I'm gonna contact MDQ then too.
Yeah, cause we ain't gonna play with these people.
He was told not to do that, correct?
Oh, absolutely, we both know.
Those bumpers and all, he wanted to move them up by that trailer down there, that we told him, do not do that. He said, that's my problem. He said, I said, you still can't do that.
Well,
He was
That's
told
what
not to.
MDEQ for.
take care of that business, sir. It's in time clocks, where we got them in place and they rolling and they fingerprinting.
They roll in the process.
Thank
you. I turned everything over to IT, who's making sure that everything gets installed where it needs to be installed.
So are the time clocks here?
They're not,
Okay.
Brandon, he's on the phone. He's online, Brandon,
25th.
hello?
He's coming.
Okay, where are you with the time clocks?
Yes. They finished configuring the time clocks and they said they should be on their way. I'm not sure why it took that long for them to configure it, but they got the delivery address and they should be coming here.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it. Only thing else, Mr. Slover, 13 Murder Drive, we had a neighborhood watch out meeting out there, and that grass is, do we have to do another,
Is that the one we've done before?
Done it
Yeah.
twice, 2 years, right?
So it's been has the notice been,
We ain't done posted this year, but we done it last year and the year before.
I told Meg to go ahead and do it
Okay.
and then have it ready by, after, I think it was after June 3rd, we had the right to cut.
Okay, might be done, I don't know that.
last,
But Robbie, it needs to be cut before, right then and soon, because it's about to be the year up, and we can go back on it within that year after posting the notice. The notice should have been done.
thank you, not last, but again on Morgantown Road, and, Mr. Gammon was here, and I think, by the end of this month, we need to have a game plan on how to handle this because, of the issues with us running for office next year and what you can and can't do in the year that you run for office. So this project needs to get started this year. My sympathy goes out to the Burnside, the Cameron, the Rankin, the Vaughn, and my sympathy definitely goes out to those people that got killed in Buffalo and the one person that got killed in California. And that's truly my report.
Okay, the only thing I've had, I've already asked, IMS about the striping on, Palestine with the road Cranville. So the only thing else I have is, Saturday, May the 21st, there'll be a, COVID vaccination and booster shots given, at the, Macedonia Baptist Church, and that's on 33 Howard Street. We asked everybody to come that who have not been, vaccinated with the, vaccine or with the booster to come out. And it'd be from 10 o'clock a.m. to 3 p.m. Also on May 26th, LaGrange Community Center, we'll be having our neighborhood watch meeting, again from 6 to 7 o'clock. And we'll be talking about emergency management. He'll be there to talk about, the hurricane weather and how FEMA and NEMA, how you go about, submitting applications when you have a problem, with the hurricane. And that's all I have.
Supervisor, before you start, I just want to bring one more thing up. Scott, did you put in your notes to, contact Commissioner King about the BR funds that we applied for and let him know that we really interested in trying to get that funds for Morgantown Road?
Yep.
Whatever information he needs, supply with, thank you, Supervisor.
Okay. I've had a couple of homeowners association meetings and most of the homeowners out in the county worried about annexation. But I've assured them, because I've talked to several aldermen, that all they did was approve, a study on annexation. And I didn't think they would actually annex anybody, and I certainly don't think they're gonna go after Boat Parade or any of those big subdivisions out there, because those people moved out there for a reason.
Can I help you out?
Sure.
If they did the study and the study come back the way they want it, they gotta try it, but we
They
ain't
might.
gonna get away with
Well,
it.
Yeah, you don't hire a $100,000 expert.
Yeah, it'll be one heck of a fight.
Yeah, we
I
don't-
guarantee you it's some
I've been
some
getting
stuff.
some of those
No.
same calls.
Yeah, okay, House bill, I believe it's 1163, I did not have the paperwork, it's in my truck.
Y'all should have received a copy of it,
Did,
forwarded it all to you.
and it involves that the counties now have to have inspectors for, building permits and all that kind of stuff for the county, because there's been some sloppy building in the county, so we're gonna have to have some electrical, sewer, AC, and all that. I guess countywide on, is it just new construction? Or,
Yes.
or,
Pretty big deal, I see.
or any, anything going on in a house, remodeling or anything like they do in the city?
Yeah,
Or is that,
that would be new.
I mean, so remodel it, they have to pull a permit. And we're gonna have to address that at some point. I don't know, have they sent any guidelines down?
No guidelines, and none of the other board attorneys have caught that either, so.
Oh. Yeah,
That was the lobbyist group for the,
the Home Builders
Yeah.
Association.
because they want.
They've been
permits.
trying to do this for 40 years, I understand. They finally got it passed. So, my only thought on it was that maybe we could team up with the city for a little while or see what works best. Because I talked to Angie about this. I said, I could see us having to spend $300,000 or $400,000 to get an inspection department up and running by the time you buy a couple of trucks, have to hire a couple of employees. And we probably don't need to do that right now, if we can do something with the city.
Could we look at possibly doing what he's saying and also possibly, figuring out how much it costs to contract some of that stuff out on case-by-case basis?
And
So-
question of whether we're gonna charge a fee, which we probably will need to do.
So how we did it for radio towers, there is a fee that's in charge, and we have a contractor that does it, and that's basically, you have to pay him to go out there and do the inspection. So maybe there's something like that we can do, not have their own departments, just
Right.
Contract.
you pay $1,200 and that guy has to go out and inspect it.
Right. Well, we gotta put something in place to let the people know in the county that they're gonna have to, have the inspection, because other than that, they just gonna do what they want.
Yeah, and it's real unfortunate, because we already had the authority, if the county chose to have that, they certainly could have done it. This is mandating that a county do it, so it was an unfunded mandate.
I thought maybe Robbie could just take care of the whole thing.
Unfortunately, as a road department manager, he's limited to it.
Come on, Robbie. We can't even file about that.
I was gonna say, just set a permit for it, make them buy a permit, and if you always get home inspections anyhow before you sell houses, those guys are licensed, bonds, whatever. Yes, you could get those, but I mean, it's like you said, it'd be plumbing, electrical, and then it takes several to do it.
So, anyway, I just want to call that to y'all's attention, because we're supposed to have this in effect by, July 1st? So,
we need a permit department?
well, we don't have to have a permit, we gotta figure out how we're going to do it. Whether we're gonna do it,
Contract basis.
contract it out, or, we're gonna have to do something, but we just kinda need, everybody needs to be aware of it. What's that?
I'll go through Robbie.
Go through.
Full night.
Well, we do have to have a central location, if they have to come by and pull one, and if we have to put another one staff member in there, or something.
We got.
Anyway,
So we put somebody in your building.
Full permits.
okay, and you asked earlier about, these school workers, or summer program. Do you have any documentation on the criteria for that? And I know it's due pretty quick, I need to call a few folks, and they wanna know what the hour's gonna be,
Okay,
what day
the
it
hours
is.
will be 8 to 5,
Full time.
Okay,
full time, 8 to 5.
4 days a week to
And
5.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I need to explore some too. And, the criteria only is a high school kid from 16 to, high school in college, from 16 to 24.
Yeah.
That was the criteria.
Monday through Friday,
Monday through Friday, but they have to be either in high school or college.
all right.
Okay.
Do we know what the pay is?
That's what I would access for them, but glad you brought that up. I talked to Angie, to see what we had in the budget, and we do have enough allocated in the budget to pay them this. But it used to be minimum wages was $7.25, and I'm asking that they get paid $8, at least $8 an hour. It's in the budget, and allocated, but, huh?
I understand it.
Well,
He
it's
said
not that
it
much
should be more,
more.
but we don't
No.
have the money.
Yeah, we don't have it.
It's in the budget because
But
I don't know why I did this, but the budget was, 24,500. But when I did the budget for this year, I put 30,000.
Yeah.
So we working with $6,000 more.
Right, and that would.
Okay.
And it's just a 2 month and a half thing, so, yeah.
So that 30,000 will carry us for how many people?
10.
10 people,
Mhm.
and how much?
$8 an hour.
That's it? You're gonna spend the whole 30?
No, it's not, because it's just 75 more cents.
All right, the next question is, who are gonna be their immediate supervisors?
Different people.
Department.
The department head, where they go to.
Does Robbie have some?
Every department gets, assigned to.
Yeah, I mean, the money's nice, but it's the experience that they're
Yeah.
trying to.
It's the
That's more
experience.
important than anything.
Yeah, experience, give them a resume.
Okay, that concludes my report.
Not interested.
Okay.
Supervisor James.
Well, first of all, I'd like to, give all the agreement to everybody who lost the reading, but especially my family. My first cousin lost her husband last night, Jerry Shepard Jr., and that would be Sam Lee's brother-in-law, died last night. And so get that. But I do have I don't like controversy, but I think I got something that has to be addressed publicly. For the last couple of weeks, business owner Mike Freeman has been on Facebook, Pina Renaldi, about District 5 and stuff like that, and that's been fine. But talked to Scott on Friday, I think I got a disturbing text, and it's got to be addressed. And the text read, it's Friday, May 13th. When you gonna get something done about these roads out here, Warren? Birthday party for Trip tomorrow at 12. Don't know what that means. That's all we have planned. Gonna cook for Rustin's birthday. Red beans and rice, homemade fried chicken, cornbread, and mustard green. Soul food, nigga. So, I was seeing what it was, and I do need to bring it to the head and bring it to the public appointment. This is my county phone, and this is what was text to it on Friday. So, we're definitely trying to handle it in the most professional way that you have. I mean, when do it get to the point where I understand it? I mean, you can go back, I think a year or so ago, went back to July last year, when he texted me about his name. He said, "Hello, this is Mike Freeman, Pro Automotive. Something has to be done about our road. 61 Forest Home has been passed too many times. Beating all my vehicles. I buy 7 to 8 tags, trailer tags. Have a 2020 Yukon. He has a long pile." Basically, he said, he had 20 to 30 votes. And my reply was, I totally understand. I'm trying to get things done, but it's a process. I've already spoken with the supervisor in Jefferson County, and I appreciate your votes from you and your family. But I do understand if I can't get something done, that I'll lose those votes. It's business, not personal. I had been trying to be totally professional and everything, and I have no problem with that. But somewhere or another, we got to address it. I'm just not gonna continue to let a fella. 2022. Her name is Warren Gaines Sr. I can't afford to be addressed like that. So I don't know where the board goes with it. I don't know what the statute is, but I want it publicly known. Because if he has that many guts to text my telephone and tell me that, he's got to have definitely something else told on his mind. Something else, and I don't know what it, he has to have something else told on his mind for the text of government phone. And it's here, not my personal text of government phone. So I do want to bring that to the board and bring that to the public. That we do it, and I don't think that people don't realize what we do. And the crazy part about it, on April the 14th, I seen him a couple of weeks before and told him we had applied for the raise grant, which we did. Supervisor Wilson and Supervisor Hutchins and even Supervisor Milton, they bagged out some of their roads so we could have a possible chance to get there. So people don't understand what we go through as supervisors and deal with that when you actually try that. But I do want to make it publicly known. It needs to be publicly known. So the public can know, and the public can have a total understanding that there's something mighty wrong. And so, I asked God to look at it. I don't know, and I mean, like I say, I just wanna be stay as professional as I can be. That's my wishes and my prayer that I can stay as professional as it be. When do it come from asking a question to basically harassment? You know, that's some of the question, because if you let them get away with stuff like this, it's gonna go further, and it's gonna end up going way further. And I'm not trying to cause any division with my community. Y'all know one of the things I've taught since I've been here, togetherness, how we have covered strides working with the city, the county, and stuff like that. But I just know I bring it forward to the board, and I bring it forward to the public. And I'm gonna just kind of yield the floor after that, President.
Mr. President, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say something later. But I need to go on and say it, but this is my 6th term. I have never, in my 6th term of being in office, had nobody to handle me like that. And excuse me, I want to say this to you, Supervisor Gang. I know you're a praying man, and you just need to keep praying, because you got wise men and you got foolish men. And I think at this point in your life that your foundation is built on a solid foundation and not on sand. So you hold on and keep praying, and as a board member, we just can't keep being silent to the things that matter. When I first heard this, the old Ricky Gray want to come out. But I know people elected all of us to be leaders, so, you know, we got to lead. But it's hard to lead when people coming at you like that. But I'm gonna say this again. I think you handled the situation like a real leader, and just continue to pray and remember, the people put you in, and it's hard. It's hard for me to even sit here and listen to some crap like that. But you know what time we living in, you know we got all kind of people in this world. And I just think we got too much good stuff going on in this community for to allow a few people with that kind of mindset to get in the way of all the positive stuff we got going on in this community. That's all I got to say, because, I mean, I'm just glad you, in your spirit, your mind.
Mr. Slow.
Well, where do you draw the line? You know, electronic mail or electronically communicate, that'd be emails and text messages to another repeatedly, whether or not conversation ensues for the purpose of threatening, terrifying, or harassing any person. And that's exactly what that text message was. You know, unfortunately, we're all public officials and y'all are elected officials, and so they can say that Scott Slover, you know, he's not doing a good job, and when are you gonna finish that, this, that, the other, when are you gonna pay Morgantown Road? Even though we're working our rear ends off on it, yeah, they have the right to say that. But when you go to sending things out just for the purpose of harassing somebody, which that's the only reason you say that word or use that kind of language to you, the entire connotation of it's derogatory. Because that's not, that extends too far. That's a crime, it's a felony.
sending it to the elected officials.
Not just elected officials, sent to anybody. Don't,
That's a crime.
you know, we get a little bit, we have to have a more tolerance, so it gets sent to us, like if it's a private person or whatever texting me repeatedly about something that needs to be done, that I'm supposed to do, you know, I text, I don't know, trying to think of a private, Pearl Street Pasta, when are you gonna add, you know, tacos to your menu continually? You can't do that. For us, we can get repeated messages about when you're gonna fix roads.
Yeah.
But then when the purpose becomes to harass somebody, then it becomes a crime. So.
Like I said, that's it. I mean, after July of last year, everything kind of calmed down. We actually went through it. Had not been any major problem. I mean, he actually called and said a couple times he appreciate getting the road done. I mean, he did for a while. I don't know. It started back like April the 30th of this year. It started back with the Facebook, whatever. But I never respond to Facebook or never respond to anything else. And he hadn't ever, he was just asked about the roads, but he had never went that far. And what he meant by that, I still don't understand what what he was saying about his birthday party, because it said again, when you gonna get something done about the roads? That was his first text. And that was at 8:57. Then he said something about tomorrow, birthday party for trip tomorrow at 12. That's all the plans we have. Gonna cook Sunday for Russell's birthday. Red beans and rice, homemade fried chicken, cornbread, mustard green, soul food, nigga. So I don't have an idea of what is he saying, because I mean, you know, we not a friend or nothing like you invite me to a party or nothing like that, so.
It makes me think that he needs to send it to somebody else. Just like talking about food and everything.
I don't think so.
I don't really know how it is, but we'll discuss it after the fact to figure out where we at. But I just wanted to make sure, it was a broad way, because, you know, I'm taking the professional ways in the high road, and I'm moving forward to keep this community together. So, but we don't know where it's going, but at the same time, elected official is elected official. But I'm an elected official that have a manhood.
Elected officials and
And it's just certain things that, how far that we're gonna go across the manhood part of it. And I think that's overbound, but we will get together.
County employees as a whole aren't gonna be subjected to that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, none of us should. From the janitor to the supervisors, you know. And that's happened before. And we dealt with it. Oh, I thought you were asking me to comment on his.
No,
No, you
go ahead.
No, your report.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry about that.
Come on, Scott, stay with us here.
We did a notice of minutes for June, at our first Monday, June meeting on the 5 Grafton Circle. And we got a letter from an attorney saying that that property is going to be sold and closed upon at the end of May. So I relayed this to the information. They said they'll clean it up. The new owner is gonna clean up the property. So that's just an FYI. Had a couple of responses back on the mental health that we've been proceeding. The state, Steve, right? Who came to us. Stephen, I'm sorry, he came to us a couple of months back. He was just giving an update. He's reviewing our proposal. He was impressed by the proposal. You know, he has not made a decision on it because he's waiting for the response from the other counties within the region. I believe he was going to go and complete all 9 counties at least by the end of the month. We are also waiting on, you know, the response of Jefferson County and Wilkinson County, both of whom have reached out and asked Brandy or myself or the board to talk more to them about what the plan is. I know that I've talked to Wilkinson County a couple of different times about it, and then they want me to come down on the 24th or 25th. So anyway,
And then Kia has reached out to us from Jefferson and wants to set up a time to meet this week, I believe.
right. So again, it's something that it seems to be moving forward. You know, we've gotten a lot of positive responses from everywhere, you know, we've talked to. And I know it's something that last meeting, we made a commitment to try to lobby to secure. So, anyway. And for the EWPs, we've gotten out of that list, go through on Route 4, which now my time's freed up a great deal. For I believe it's Lansdowne Park, I believe we've got. Yep. That one was signed. On Quitman Road, we've gotten a response back from the landowner, or at least the agent of the landowner about that, and we're engaging them to try to get it done. So I think that's gonna get signed.
Which one that is?
Quitman,
Equipment, across the street from Bolte's driveway.
What landowner you need?
that's Bolte's the one that,
You got a problem with it?
no, he's just asking questions and wants to know about the project. It's pretty standard that we get those type of questions for it. This one actually benefits the road. So when that happens, normally they want to have a lot more questions as to how much property
You
they're
got a
losing.
problem, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely, and so far they've not indicated any problems, it's just normal stuff like what are you gonna do out there and that kind of thing. So I'll let you know what we want me to come out and have a powwow on it. Let's see. We've gotten a response back on Liberty Road for the Clay property. It's a trust that's out in Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we got, yeah, Wisteria Lane, I think we've gotten as well. I think. Yeah, okay, so with Wisteria Lane, we've talked to them, we've gotten the dad, we're still waiting on the son to sign. Dad's gonna make the son sign.
What's the address?
It's on Wisteria Lane. The address, I can't see you on top of it.
But you feel comfortable that you're gonna get it done?
The dad's gonna get them to do it. Oh, actually, it's been filed, so I'm sorry. That got done today. Good. Let's see. And Cleopa's obviously been done. So that, I think South Palestine Road, that one I'm waiting on the title opinion on. But I think that the owner of that, purported owner of it is still in, works for one of the attorneys doing it. And so they'll end up signing that. So within the next week and a half, now that I got a lot more, I'm freed up more to be just hitting on those now. The audit questions, I sent an email out. Did y'all receive the audit?
Oh, yeah.
There's a questionnaire. It's asking whether there's any violations of ethics contract for the, yeah, and we'll go through those too. If you want me to with you, we can do that. The answer for all of y'all should be no. Wes has to disclose some stuff, but not while he was in office. It hadn't happened, and nothing that's illegal. So we talked to the audit, and they're good with that. So if you have questions about it, we'll go through it one-on-one if you want to. But it's really just asking if you giving your family, any contracts or giving some money from the county, which we know is prohibited, we don't do. Anything else? Okay, so I forwarded y'all an email about the independent auditor that we've been having continual problems or timeliness doing. And state audit has sent numerous comments back to him, and he's been unable to address those comments to the sufficiency of the state audit. They said that the county can still accept the audit, but it has to have a statement that the state audit doesn't really think that these records are, verified enough for them to accept. We have forwarded that response to our new third-party audit, asking them what they suggest. Jay is offering to reduce his fee by $2,500 for it. At this time, I can't tell you, and I don't think Randy can tell you really what this, what it basically means and how much weight it is. I'd like to get a CPA to tell me, is this basically worthless, or what type of adverse effect does this have on our audit? So we'll probably reach out to both the third-party auditor and state audit to get a better, and to be fair, state audit tried to reach out to Brandy yesterday, but she was unable to get back with them. So.
And the new audit firm is already having to do the compliance side
Right.
of the audit that Jay was supposed to do, because they said he didn't even provide that, so.
That's an FYI, and hopefully we'll have, some direction, next meeting. And that's my report.
Mine is short and sweet. I just have two bond renewals for June, for Diane Stringer and Sharonica Miles, please.
You heard the request?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
That's all I have, thank you.
Ms. Page?
I don't have any.
Ms. King?
Yes, first of all, I do have a check for the automotive, and the board doesn't have to sign the docket because it was on the docket. The check just not printed. You already signed it. Okay. So we just get this check.
System just
The
jumped
system
it?
just didn't print the check.
So it's in the minutes?
It's in the minutes.
Yeah, it's on the docket, that's fine.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
put it in
I
there.
think they would really approve the invoices to be paid.
And it's got launched, as a matter of fact, this check printed March the 4th, date on it, because that's the date it was put there. So, anyway. That's that. I like spread across the minutes, the, tort, certificate that we get every year in November. It was over in accounting, and I was going through some paperwork. We should have spread this across the minutes.
What is that?
November. It's just a certificate, tort. Insurance certificate.
So,
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins. Can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, back in June, it was spread across the business to pay for the airport, but he asked for us to pay for some invoices for air service development. And we have two invoices that was invoiced in June for $4,000, and the one for October and for $4,500. So there's no money in it, in his budget, so I'm asking the board to approve to increase the budget for $8,500 to cover these expenses. They're already in the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines. Can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
I'd like to spread across the minute and interfund loan. This, coming from our accounts payable to the health insurance for $51,000.
So moved. Motion by Supervisor Gray.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
We have two modifications from CCA. And the first one is they increased funds in amount of $8,041,129.82 to be spread across the minutes The purpose of this modification is, and both of these modifications coincide with each other. The purpose is to accommodate, their facility to accommodate transgenders. So we increase the funds, I guess, so they could accommodate it.
You heard it.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we'll come to me. I have a form here that Mary Kay had dropped off. She mentioned it before she left, and this is from the Office of Justice Programs. I just need my signatures right across the minutes where they have submitted the answers to this. Yeah, it's
Basic questions that are required under the Department of Justice.
That's something we already approved, huh?
I just need
It's
it.
approved, you just need it spread across the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. I have a new hire for deputy clerk. I think this is Department 104. Was that Chancery Clerk? Crystal? Yeah, okay. Hourly rate $13, annual rate $27,040.
Is it the budget?
Who is it?
A new hire for
Yeah,
Terry.
that's for the vacant position, I think, you know.
Okay. Terry, Terry? This is
So,
for the,
It's
There's a
already,
it was a
I
vacant. Yeah, second.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Also have three reimbursements for travel for Miss Angela James. They are signed by Walter Brown. We've got one for $13.81, $13.81, one for $42.82, and one for $84.83.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by who? Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
So they're reimbursement.
And the reason he's approving reimbursements, the reason that's getting approved is because the travel was did before approval. So we have to approve the reimbursement. Right.
I have a resolution
It's
here.
already been approved, they just need your signature.
What? Yes?
Yeah, that's, yeah, Francis, it's already been done.
Okay.
Should sign.
That's all I have. We have mine will be determined.
Let me say this, Wes, before we do that. I was waiting for you to mention it, Scott. But, on the Morgantown project also, we spoke to the mayor. The mayor said he would talk to his board about the Morgantown project. We don't know exactly how many miles of it is city, but once they find out how many miles, how many?
Thank you, but I want to say 0.6.
0.6?
I'm not sure, but make
Okay,
sure.
but how many miles of it is city? He would ask their board, to pay for those miles. That they would chip in to help with that.
And I asked George to, tell me that, to give me that direction for that. So, hopefully they'll get that back to us. At that same meeting, and I should have brought that up, we didn't meet about the softball fields. There's gonna be some immediate improvements that the school board's getting right on to get fixed. And, you know, we're gonna send over our proposal as to what we're gonna do with the softball fields and both the city and the school board, so they would look at it and see if they can, you know, if they can do it or not, so.
Say that again?
We're gonna send over our proposal for the softball fields, right?
What
And-
proposal?
Well, we have the rec commission did a expert to improve all the baseball fields, which included the softball and the Chester Willis fields. And so there's a, kind of program that includes the softball.
Those people don't even exist no more, man. We got new people on that board, they don't even meet.
No, what I think it didn't come out right, what he was trying to say was, there was a package put together on girls softball complex, like it was for Chester Willis Field. And we're gonna send that to the city and the school district so they can see what the plans were, to see if they're willing to come to the table and put part in it with us.
Okay, what do you mean with us? Let me get this.
If they won't go in, we're not doing it. That's what he's trying to say. If they're willing to go in to do this with us, we're willing to, but we're not gonna do it or can we do it by ourselves? All right? Item to be concerned.
Yeah.
I got one more thing. I don't know if everybody got this, but this is Natchez Adams School District class of 2022. Natchez Early College at Colin. Join us for graduation ceremony on Friday, May the 27th, 2022 at 7:30 at the Tom William Memorial Stadium, 319 Sergeant Trench Drive, Natchez, Mississippi. Join us for baccalaureate service under Natchez Early College at Colin and Natchez High School, Sunday, May the 22nd. Ms. Brand, I thought, when is the award?
They were gonna do it at Baccalaureate.
Oh, they gonna do it at baccalaureate?
He
Oh,
told me May 22nd at 9.
okay.
That all you had? Supervisor Gray?
Yes, sir. Item to be determined.
Mm-hmm. Need a motion?
So,
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.